Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is I am him, the one and only Steel Rain, and you are now locked in to your morning show, Living Split Screen in the morning, where we give it to you live, raw, and uncut, give you that energy boost that you need to get into your weekend. And look, I'm here with my brother from another, the most energetic, the most podcast defining, the most entertaining, one of the greatest minds that I know, and one of the greatest gentlemen I know, none other than the co-host with the co-most, Pong Soul. What is going on, my guy?
Still, look, man, I don't know how you gave me the most energetic title when you, sir, are in fact the most energetic one out of the two of us, especially. So, but anyways, brother, I appreciate the intro. As brother from another Steel just said, happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to Living Split Screen, episode 8. It is a great morning. The sun is out. The sun is shining through these windows. And man, you know what? It's been a full week of news, Steel. And it hasn't been the big stuff, like the big stuff, because we're coming up on E3.
Right.
But this industry right now is moving along at such a pace that there's always something to discuss.
Yes.
And we're getting news from all the big three. And you know what, man? It's Saturday morning. This is Living Split Screen, and I'm ready to talk some game industry news. So, hey, man, let's bring it on.
That's excellent. That's excellent, man. Excellent. It seems like we got a little bit of a delay. I can't tell if it's on your side. It might be on my side. So I'm close to some things in the background, but hopefully YouTube will even it out. Hopefully things will even out as we go through. Again, what's a stream without a couple technical difficulties, right? But other than that, man. Look, it's been an amazing week. We've had an amazing few things going on. Look, as you might have seen within the title, we're talking a little bit about the Starfield exclusivity. PS5 has some magical things going on. And other than that, there's been a few other things. Nintendo's putting some money in some places, investing. They're trying to make some moves, man. So it seems like it's been a really good gaming week. But just to start off, with what we've been into this week, man, other than work and it being crazy in life, look, I finally got a chance to finish Dead Space. I got some more gameplay up in the background for you guys, because why not? I know I played some last week, but hopefully I did it the last couple hours. So hopefully I might see me get kicked around by the last boss a little bit due to the sensitivity in the game not aging as well. But but yeah, man. So I had a chance to finally beat the first Dead Space, man, and it was fantastic. At least on PC. Man,
I'm so happy you did.
The game aged really well. It looks great. Yes, does it look like one of our newer games or whatever the case, and the attention to detail or whatever the case? No, but at the same time, for a game that came out in 2006, it looks like a really solid game. Playing at 4K 60, it was a good time. Again, I cannot tell you guys enough that the enemies in that game were great. The overall ambience in the game was great. The story took it to a different place. It had me asking questions at the end, like, man, what just happened? One of my favorite parts was the chick getting slammed around by the final boss at the end, where you finally figure out that you just been finessed this whole time, and
Spoiler alert for anybody who still has not played
That's true. That's true. My fault. For anybody that hasn't played it, spoiler alert, you're right. I need to clarify that. I'm sorry. The game has been out for a while, so it's like, I might as well get it out there. Well, but look,
I've been more than a while.
Look, I've been hearing y'all talk about Mass Effect, and I've been avoiding it for as long as I can, and I can't, okay? Everybody's talking about it. But it's been a great time, man. If anybody has been like maybe second guessing dropping into Dead Space, check it out, man. It's another one of those series, along with Mass Effect, it seems, that just seems like classics. Speaking of Mass Effect, I haven't had a chance to jump into it. Actually, I lie. I had 17 minutes to hop in. I spent about 15 making a character. I found out that I couldn't make him look as close to me as I could.
Instead, you created who?
I created a futuristic version of myself where, because I'm bald or whatever, where the hair follicles came back, or they found a different way to bring the hair back to my head without having to splice it into my dome.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He's Rico Suave, man.
Thank you. That's what I was just
created.
gonna say.
I created
Behind
Rico
the scenes,
Suave.
he said he created a futuristic Rico Suave, and then went on to say that it was supposed to be like himself.
It is.
So
it
now
was.
we know what Theo thinks. Right. Okay. All right. Rico Suave.
Hey man, I like to think that I feel like I'm not a bad looking guy, but I'll let you guys decide. Let me know in the chat how you guys feel. No homo, no Marty Cole. Hey man,
don't let anybody tell you. No matter what the chat goes on to say right now, don't let anybody tell you you're not beautiful.
Hey man, look, man. I'm the last thing I'm worried about is other people thinking I'm beautiful or not. With that being said, I also had a chance to hop in some Phantasy Star New Genesis last night. I'm in the closed beta on PC. Man, I cannot tell you guys enough. This is a completely different game. Yes.
Wait. You said New Genesis, right?
Yes.
For everybody at home who may not know, give the full title.
Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis.
Thank you, sir.
Basically, what New Genesis is, I want to say it's like a Phantasy Star Online 3, but it's basically them remastering Phantasy Star Online 2. That's basically how it comes across. The game plays completely different. Plays completely differently. The gameplay is different. It just overall feels different. It's more open. Has a little bit more variety, but it still has the core mechanics of what you know about Phantasy Star. As far as like all the add-ons and everything, and it's been so long since I've played Phantasy Star, so I don't want to inaccurately describe it or whatever the case might be, but I know I was having an amazing for someone, because I stopped playing Phantasy Star Online 2 right before they increased the level cap. So the level cap was like at 75, and then they increased it to like 80, 85, and then to 90, and whatever the case. I stopped playing before they started doing all that. I move on to the next. I give games a certain amount of time to really grasp me. That, and if I'm not playing, because they separate everything with ships, it's hard to, if you don't get with your boys in the background, say, hey man, what ship are you on? This, that, and the other case, you have to wait. If you're going to transfer ships, you have to wait until the next maintenance for your character to be transferred over.
That sucks.
And that could take a month. Typically, I think they do maintenances every month. So typically, you're waiting a month to get swapped over to play with your boys. And I believe that was one of the reasons I got turned off of it before, because a lot of my boys are on ship 1, I'm on ship 2. And it was like, damn, I got to wait a month. And then between that time, other games pop up. And not only that, but the game was already disconnecting me just because of how it was feeling. Very repetitive. I didn't feel like I was gaining anything from nothing. But with this one, it just feels like a completely new game. The enemies, the way the game just overall looks is amazing to me. Definitely, if the beta comes out to console, or even if it just opens up to anywhere, if you're able to jump into it and you're in the Phantasy Store, jump in and check it out, man. I cannot say what that. And if anything, check out on my page on YouTube, I Still Reign, same as the way it's typed in on here. Go check it out. I got some gameplay in, talked about a little bit of my feelings on how I felt about it or whatever the case at the time. And other than that, man, it was amazing. But with that being said, boom, how was your week? What have you been into, if you've been able to get into anything?
Hey man, it's a Mass Effect world, and I'm just living in it again. So it's been a beautiful, beautiful thing. Of course, I was playing Cyberpunk up until Mass Effect released. So back into that thing as well. However, that's going back on pause because Mass Effect, I'm falling in love all over again.
Tell me about it. Tell me.
So look. Mass Effect as a trilogy is one of the greatest science fiction, sci-fi stories ever told. I don't care what medium you want to pick. I don't care if you want to pick books. I don't care if you want to pick TV shows. I don't care if you want to pick movies. Mass Effect is hands down best the most thrilling, some of the best characters ever found in a sci-fi story, bar none. Okay,
Okay.
it is probably top. Well, I know for a fact it's top five all time on my list of games that I've ever played and series that I've ever played. Um, and what EA has done here is something that a lot of people were worried about, that they didn't know. They were worried prior to it coming out because EA, as we know, can cut corners. EA can take the cheap route. A lot of people felt they were taking the cheap route with Mass Effect because they weren't doing a full remake. They were just doing a remaster, right? So a lot of people had some questions about how this is going to turn out. There was a lot of hand wringing going on prior to this, wondering if EA was going to do Mass Effect right by this remaster, and whether or not it was going to satisfy, especially the fanatical old fans like myself, whether it was going to do it justice. I can answer that unequivocally at this point from what I've just played, and I've played I don't know how many hours, and I'm already level 10 though. Um, that they've done it. Okay, they've done it in spades. They have given this trilogy what it needs,
Right.
which is the ability to not only make all of us old fans happy,
Right.
and surprised and shocked, but the new fans that they want to draw in as they get ready, and they've started, pre-production on obviously number four. We saw the
Hmm.
trailer just a few months ago, the little clip, the little teaser with Liara that they are working on. Obviously, number four, they're going
Hmm.
to avoid Andromeda altogether. So, from the standpoint of what I played in Mass Effect 1, they have elevated this series even further beyond what it was at one point. I am a team Mass Effect 1. You guys can all cancel me if you think Mass Effect 2 is the best. I don't care.
But no, but you have a
I
good
love Mass
reason.
Effect 1.
Yeah.
I do have a good reason. And my reason for loving Mass Effect 1, if anybody cares out there, over number 2, and again, number 2 is a fantastic game. Number 3 is a very good game, and a really, now that they changed the ending, a good ending to this trilogy, right? I'm not taking anything away from number 2. Mass Effect 1 to me just feels like the bigger story. I love the bigger feel
Right.
of the story. Number 2 is more personal. And I'm not going to get into spoilers. People need to discover it for themselves. And you know what's crazy, Steele, is through this, I have found out that there's a bigger group of people who have never touched the Mass Effect trilogy before in their lives. And to me, that is crazy because this is like, if you were to ask me some of the pillar franchises of video games in history,
As I've heard.
Mass Effect would be one of them,
As I've
right?
heard. I mean, like we have talked in the background, man. As due to me, and I keep reiterating this, man. Due to me being a multiplayer centric gamer,
Yep.
there's a
Right.
lot of those games that people consider pillars, like Dead Space and now like Mass Effect, that I didn't get a chance to play. So it's like Pong has been telling me in the background, man, like, dude, like I'm jealous because you're experiencing this game, and now with what everybody's saying, completely different than how we had to experience it. And that's a benefit to you. But my fault. Go ahead.
No, no, that's fine, man. I know I'm being long-winded
No, no,
here,
you good.
but this again, this trilogy, you don't understand. And I am jealous of everybody that does get to play for the first time like you still. I am,
Mhm.
truly, because it's such a special experience, and you guys get to see it in the best light possible. However, going back, I still remember when Mass Effect launched and what it meant, because again, sci-fi is one of those genres out of all the genres. Yes, there are a ton of space games out there, guys. I'm not going to sit here and try to say there's not a ton of space games. We've gotten a ton of Star Wars games, right? We've
Right.
gotten a smattering of Star Trek games here and there, right? But there are so very few sci-fi games that elevate themselves to the point where you can say, hey, this actually is as good or better than the movies. And we haven't seen those come along very often.
Right.
And back in the day, Mass Effect was an eye-opening experience. Mass Effect was mind-blowing experience because it pushed. This is peak BioWare. For anybody who doesn't know, this is BioWare of old.
Yes.
This is when BioWare had made their name as the and again, not going to take away from obviously my favorite people over at Bethesda and what they've done with Elder Scrolls and all that kind of
As you
stuff.
say, God
But as
Howard.
Todd Howard, and I wasn't going to bring his name in this conversation yet
You
because it's not
got to.
appropriate.
You got
It's not
to.
appropriate
You got to
because we're
now.
we're talking about old BioWare at this point, right?
Yeah.
BioWare back in the day was neck and neck with Bethesda as far as Western RPGs, and
Okay.
I would say it's at one point may have been more beloved than Bethesda in a lot of circles
Okay.
because of both Dragon Age and then Mass Effect,
I can see
right?
that.
You, uh, again, peak BioWare was some of the best storytelling, character development you could ever find in a video game, and the culmination of all that happened in Mass Effect.
Hmm.
And back then, people forget, yes, Mass Effect 1 had wonky controls. There was lots of problems with it. However,
Yeah.
that was pretty normal for big RPGs back then, okay? I don't need to go back to and tell people how Oblivion played when it first came out on 360, okay? Okay? But again, that was part of the
Yeah.
charm, right? That I know that's my nostalgia. I know that's an old person thing. Like, hey, it wasn't so bad. It really wasn't bad for us back then because a lot of games were clunky. A lot of games had wonky stuff going on in them, right? So it was what it was. We just played through it. Now I know some people back then probably didn't finish ME1 because of that, but for the majority of us, it was no big deal. But
Hmm.
again, coming forward to now, I understand I would not want, and I don't know if Rick Payne's in the chat yet, but I've been telling him to not go back and play the trilogy. He
Yeah.
keeps trying to go do it, and I keep telling him not to do it because it could turn off some people who have never experienced it. Um, if you go back and play the original versions, right?
Oh,
We've come
yeah.
forward. This right here, this remake right here has fixed almost every single problem. Now I haven't obviously played through the entire game, so
Right.
but I've noticed that they fixed some of the upfront bugs,
Hmm.
some of the bugs that were there present in some of the side missions are
Hmm.
gone. So they've
Okay.
gone back and fixed that stuff.
That's dope.
And let me tell you, folks, 1440p 120 on series consoles. If you have the option to play it at that, please do so.
Mm.
If you're a 4K lover, 4K 60 is beautiful. I totally understand. Go do it. But again, if you are like me
Right.
and you want to be able to tell the difference and feel the difference between 60 and 120, go play the 120. The 120 is extra. Okay, that is butter. It is silk. I cannot believe how good it not only looks at 1440p,
Hmm.
but plays and feels at 120 frames per second. It is a game changer. So if you have the option, go do it. 4K 60 is absolutely incredible. I'm not gonna. I flip back and forth for about the first probably hour or so I played. I was trying out different scenarios, trying to see which one I was going to settle in at.
Right.
I just can't get over the 120 in this game, especially during battle. It is something to behold. But what they've done here is brought ME1 especially, and again, I haven't played ME2 or ME3, but I'm sure
Hmm.
they're going to be fantastic. They have taken an old game and they have brought it and reshaped it so that people that have never experienced a series can go back and enjoy it the way that it should be enjoyed,
Yes.
and not worry about the controls so much. Yes, some of it still feels dated. It is a 14-year-old game with 14-year-old systems, so some of it is going to feel dated, even the menus and some of the
Right.
RPG elements in it, which I love personally,
Hmm.
but other people don't, right? You're going to feel some of that date, that age to this game still.
Hmm.
But again, when you're playing the game and you're in it, you're not going to be drawn out of it by having to complain about the hiccups and the clunky controls and that kind of stuff. You're going to be able to enjoy this for what it is, which is
Okay.
one of the greatest sci-fi stories ever told. And I'm so happy. Kudos to EA and BioWare, the team currently, for doing all that they did to make this happen. Because my heart is singing once more. I've had so many goosebumps already from the music, which is still to this day one of the best sci-fi soundtracks ever created. to the just the little moments, moment to moment things. I have had goosebumps and a smile has not left my face since I turned it on. This is special, folks, and I think the reviews are saying that as well. I think it's
Yeah,
right now. I think it's early because it's such a big long series, but I think we're sitting at 89, 90
that's crazy.
score wise. Everybody online, all the old gamers who played this originally, I've seen nothing but positive, basically the same feelings as me. I
Mhm.
was going back with back and forth with a couple of them online, and it's nothing but the same feelings as me when it comes to this. So again, Mass Effect. Legendary Edition, well worth the money. You get the discount if you're a Game Pass member. So get the discount, $53, $54 with tax or whatever it is.
Okay.
Plus, you get 6,000 bonus points right now, which is basically $6. So you come out at $48 for 3 incredible games. It is
Yeah.
well worth it. And at the end of the day, Steel, here's the thing. You've been talking about Dead Space. I think this is a test run for a Dead Space remake,
You're saying that?
remaster.
Yep.
I think this is it. I think that's why we didn't see an FPS boost on Dead Space, is because if Mass Effect Legendary hits the way that they expect it to, and I
Mhm.
think it is already, I think they're going to be willing to go back and put in the same amount of effort that they did in Mass Effect to bring Dead Space forward. And I think
Okay.
that's going to be a huge deal because there is a big fan base of Dead Space, and now you're one of them, brother, that would
Yes.
love to see it brought more current. And I think they were hesitant on whether or not without doing a full remake, because again, we know EA is cheap and they don't want to spend the money
Mhm.
to go back and bring everything up to Unreal 4, right? But if they can go back and just gloss it up, polish it up, wax it up, like they did with Mass Effect, and they can do that and make a ton of money off of it, like they would with a Dead Space
Right.
trilogy remaster, I think they're going to go back and do it. So
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them doing that. My biggest thing for me, I have this bad habit. I wouldn't necessarily say a bad habit, but it's just me as a gamer. Now that I've played through the series, it's kind of the same thing with Mass Effect. If I would have already played through Mass Effect, I wouldn't have touched it again. And that's just the kind of gamer and that's just always been the kind of gamer I am. Once I beat that game that first time, I'll never go back to the story. Never.
Jill, I'm like you though. I'm like you, and then that's why I haven't touched it all this time. So
Right.
I totally understand what you're
Which
saying.
and
Like
that's a
I'm not,
benefit, right?
right, right, exactly. This was just again. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, I'm not. I understand why people want to go back and keep replaying them.
Hmm.
And Mass Effect is so good that
For sure.
I've played it. I played it through twice, I think, in my life. But again, it's been such a long time. This is a brand new experience for me, going back to it, and I'm glad that I'm not, And I don't know. I'd like to talk to like Slow-Mo, who plays it yearly, just to find out what it's like for somebody who's continuously replayed Mass Effect to play it now and
Hmm.
to see if it has the same impact that it does for me. Because for me, again, it's falling in love all over again. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No,
I wanted to say that I totally get where you're coming from. That normally that's me too. I don't like to go back.
right.
This is just something special. This is like Knights of the Old Republic coming out remastered. I'll play it again. Right. This is just one of those series that I have to go back and play.
Right, exactly. I mean, and really, with my whole point with that was saying it's like because I 100% agree with you. If they come out with a Dead Space remaster, I believe it's 100% worth it because there's a lot of people who love that series. Again, I'm playing through it and loving it, and to me it's playing like a remaster, but that's only because I'm playing it on PC. It's that option, right? But on console for sure. I mean, of course, I mean you see the benefits of it on even on PC. You see it in Mass Effect too, in Mass Effect also, I should say, because it's not a specific game, where the upgrades are very prevalent and it makes a huge difference. But for me now, it's like if I go through now and play through the entire Dead Space series, like I will, hopefully, because I made a character and what
Right.
is that?
Right.
What is that initial thing that they jump through in Mass Effect? Is that called the Mass Effect, right? That's called the Mass Effect.
It's a
Isn't it?
it's a relay.
Okay, it's called a relay. It's called a
Yeah,
relay.
but
Sorry.
it's a relay. Yeah, the relay jump. That
Okay,
first jump,
that
goosebumps.
relay jump
Goosebumps.
was fire. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
yo,
Oh, yeah.
I really want to play now. So it's like
Right.
now I'm kind of invested in wanting to play that. So I got to get through that, and then hopefully, if it's not too late within the month and Biomutant isn't out yet, I can get back to finishing up Dead Space. But for what Pong's telling me, I probably won't get that far. So, because of how huge and expansive these games are, and I know everybody plays games differently. So, hey man, but needless to say, that is what's up, man. Look, it seems like you had an amazing week. We had a lot of things to talk about.
I know.
I
overtalked that one, but
you were good. You were good.
Mass
That's perfect.
So big. It's just
no, you were perfect. There was nothing wrong with it. I mean, again, that's what makes this what we do so unique. Is that if you that passion that you had, you were able to get that across. You know, and that's why there wasn't a point for me to interrupt. It was just like we were having a casual conversation. Mass Effect's a big thing right now. With the remaster hitting everybody's head tops, everybody's feeling good about it. So just for you, again, it's people like you, Pong, man, that again, you're part of the reason I jumped into Cyberpunk, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, regardless of what everybody else said. And again, Dead Space is another one where I was like, Pong was like, yo, you need to jump into it. Again, jumped into it and I enjoyed it. And then again, Mass Effect is now another one of those to where it seems like it seems like there's a trend going on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a positive trend, and there's nothing wrong with being passionate, because that's what it's about, man. Right? But anyway, needless to say, fantastic weeks, fantastic games that we've been playing, and look, where do we want to go from here? I guess first.
Go ahead.
First, I just wanted to address the chat, man. Beautiful. There's some beautiful people in here tonight. This morning. We're usually I'm usually podcasting at night, so it's just like, damn it. But it's daytime, man. It's the morning.
Look. You gotta wake up, man. You gotta wake up. Everybody in the chat.
I'm on my second cup of coffee.
Last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm just getting my second cup of coffee in, man. Sorry. Oh, see, look, we got some invaders in here. We got Spooky in here. We got Dragonheart Yobi in here. G-Bone. Who else? Sick. Caper Grant. What's going on? Who else is in here? Who else is there?
Kima.
Mr. Kima was in here. Stanley Francois. Matt Barnes. What's going on? Sean was in here. Facts.
That's from WBG, everybody. Go check out WBG Monday nights. Shout out to those brothers.
Facts. Shout out, much love to them. Psycho. We got a lot of beautiful people in here, man. If y'all still in here, man, come in here, just say hi so we can shout you out. Other than that, I will be dropping some codes midstream, but they're going to be Steam codes. I will say what the game is, whatever the case might be, but I have about 10 games to give away that I was able to get through a little program that I was able to get into, and it's going to be a good time. Right now, it's going to be the first one that I'm going to end up giving away is going to be Guilty Gear X2 Reloaded. Again, this is going to be for Steam, so hopefully everybody's paying attention. And other than that, man, Pong, where do you want to get to, man? Joe Dunmore.
Joe Dunmore. All right, I love it. And so Soy 2 Mangs, man, thanks for coming out, brother. Appreciate it. You know what? It's great to see you. Great to see you. I love seeing these new names pop up in our chat, obviously.
Soy 2. So, for sure.
Hell yeah. That's right. Yeah, exactly.
He said he came to hear you talk, man.
Hey, look, man. I just want to see people come out and enjoy living split screen, because that's what matters, man. It's Saturday morning. We got to wake more people up. Our goal, Steel, is to wake up the entire world one day.
Yeah, man.
Where everybody just flips on YouTube and it's living split screen in the entire world, like a takeover. We're just doing it, and we're waking everybody up across the world.
And we need y'all's precipitation. God, it's going to start raining in here, man.
Well, yeah, you got the steel rain, obviously. You got to bring the rain. So
precipitation, man. We need y'all to participate. Lord, I cannot talk this morning. Jesus Christ. Cheese and rice.
At least you know it's morning.
Yeah,
not
facts.
Night, so.
But no, we need y'all to participate, man. We want y'all to be able to get us out there. if y'all messing with it, man, that's the other thing. I want this to be as organic and as authentic as possible. If y'all are messing with it, y'all loving the energy, y'all loving what we're doing here. If y'all have suggestions, hit us up in the comments, hit us up in the DMs, hit that like button, hit the thumbs down. Let us know how trash or how great we are, or maybe this is how you feel.
Only great. Don't listen to Steel again.
I need you to tell me how bad I'm doing so that I can fix it. I can't get better if you guys are just being play pretend. I'm not cool with that. Again, but that's something else that we carry over here, man. We just try to be as organic and as authentic and as polarizing and as energizing and just everything across the board, man. We try. This is what it's not even trying at this point. We're just doing it, man. It's just natural. All natty, like King says.
You gotta do
little
the flex
man,
though.
little man, all natty.
Shout out to the Iron Lords, as always.
But I guess we're gonna get into.
We should start with game releases coming up, upcoming game releases.
Let's do it. I'm gonna bring up the full screen.
Make sure we let everybody know what's coming out, because again, we are getting to that point in 2021. A lot of stuff has been delayed and pushed because of, everything that's been happening in the world, unfortunately. But we are now getting to that point where a lot of this stuff is going to be popping each and every week. We're getting to that avalanche of games and content is starting. It's like like when you see an avalanche and you see those first few little boulders kind of fall off, and you know that it's about to break off that whole big piece. That's where we're at. We're starting to see this now. We had Resident Evil Village, we had Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now what do we got coming up this week? You ready, Steel? Ready to rock and roll? I'll start reading when you are.
I'm working on pulling that up right now. Seemingly trying to give me an issue. There it goes. It worked. Of course, it works the fourth time that I try to pull it up. So there it goes with that. But yeah, I got to pull that. We're ready to rock, man. Go ahead.
Awesome. So we are coming up on the week of the 17th here. So let's go here. So we got Days Gone finally hitting PC, which we knew was happening. Another big Sony game that's going to hit PC. Days Gone had its issues. Obviously, everybody knows about that. Whether or not it gets a sequel, that's been going around here for over the past couple months with all the talk about what Sony's doing and what their plans are. So Days Gone, great zombie game. I didn't play a ton of it, but I probably put 25 hours into it on PS4. I enjoyed it. So I liked it. Great game. So that's coming out on PC. SnowRunner, the great truck driving simulation series that a lot of people actually really love. SnowRunner, man. So not my style of game, but you know what? If you like hauling, if you like trucks, if you like driving through mud, snow, and whatever else you can get into with trucks, SnowRunner is a game for you, and that's coming to Switch May 18th. Okay, a big one. Aerial Knights Never Yield. Aerial Knight. This dude, and was that an what?
No, I'm talking about Aerial Knights coming out.
Serious.
It's that time.
I thought we dropped this. I thought we dropped the stream.
No, we're good.
Stop scaring me like that, man. Okay. Aerial Knight. Man, if you have never seen or if you don't know about Aerial Knight and his story and his background, Iron Lords had an interview with this guy. God, I want to say 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Time is weird for us old people, man. So, anyways, go check it out. Go find it. This kid is incredible, right? And he's a one-man development team. And this is obviously a runner style game. If you don't like runners, I still would highly recommend you go check out the videos on it, because the style, it oozes style, right? And the music, this kid has poured his heart into this game, and I'm so happy to finally see him get to release it. So Aerial Knights Never Yield. This is a big release for this guy, and he deserves it. Again, that interview with Iron Lords, I was like, man, I want nothing but good things for this guy, because, man, you just know good people deserve it. And he's one of those ones out here putting in all the time, effort, sweat, blood, tears to make his vision a reality, and he's done it. And so just the other day, I saw him post on Twitter, and I retweeted it out. He saw his game in the PlayStation Store for the first time, and he was just so excited and happy. He's like a
Facts.
little kid showing off his new
Yes.
present. He couldn't
Great.
contain
Oh
himself,
man.
man, and I was right there with him, like, I couldn't believe it. So, do you have anything more you wanna say on it, Steel?
Nah,
Because I
man.
know you
Other
looked at it
other
too.
than
Yeah.
it's one of those things to where just to see a black creative get out there, because I feel like there's just not enough attention gets put towards our to our ethnic creatives, man. That to him to get the attention that he's been getting, to him to get on with the Iron Lords, whether who has a nice sized platform at least, and just really you see the passion, it oozes personality. You get
Does.
the feel from it. And especially with him being involved within the community, it just takes it to another level to where, at least for me, I kind of feel personally attached to it, because it's like, man, I've seen him kind of doing the groundwork and getting involved in the community and putting himself out there and saying, hey man, I've been put through all these trials and tribulations. I've had everybody tell me no. And then now I finally get an opportunity to really step into the fold. And I guess we'll see how great the game is. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm hoping that it's going to be definitely something to look to tell people about.
Absolutely. And that's May 19th. So again, Arrow Knights Never Yield is the full name of the game. Go check
Facts.
that out. We got Elite Dangerous Odyssey showing
Ooh.
up on PC. Now, this is the if you want to call it expansion, I guess. I almost call it a new game. For anybody who doesn't know, Elite Dangerous is a space flight simulator, but they are now giving it that first, I believe it's actually first person.
Yeah, it's on foot. Yeah.
Yeah, on foot. You're gonna actually be able to get on planets. It's kind of an MMO,
Yeah.
so it is an MMO. I
Yeah,
shouldn't say it's
exactly.
kind of. It is an MMO. There was a space flight sim
Yep.
MMO.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous looking game.
Yes.
We were just talking about Mass Effect. Talk about flying around in space and the planets and stuff. I did not. I have Elite Dangerous. I really wanted to get into it. Have not found the time. I'm going to get into it because it is a big, big world.
Yeah.
Like it's a full universe and it's sim style, so
Okay.
it's hardcore. Like flying around and picking up cargo and
Yeah.
all this kind. And now for them to bring it down to where you get to land on a planet and actually get to do some fighting
Yeah, get some
and
action. It looks kind of get
yeah, get
dope.
some action. I'm all about this.
It looks like it
So, and
dope.
I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody, Jez Corden got I believe he just got a care package from Frontier Developments, the developer and publisher. And like, I think you can like, he got some kind of, got some, what do they call those? God, I just lost my mind. Too early in the morning. Steel, you know what I'm talking about when you can create like a little biome, like with plants and stuff, where
Um.
you plant it and you create its own little world. Like they sent him a care package where he gets to
Yeah.
create his own
Yeah.
little scene from like Elite Dangerous. Super
Oh,
cool.
yeah. That's dope.
I
That's
just
dope.
saw it the other day. But anyways, Elite Dangerous, that comes out this week for PC. I'm not sure. I thought the release date was gonna be the same, but I don't think so. I think it's actually coming later this year for consoles. So the upgrade is gonna come later this year for consoles. So, but yeah, that comes out May 19th for PC. So
Yes.
check that out. The Wild at Heart. Now, this is a small game that we saw, an indie title out of Moonlight Kids,
Hmm.
published by Humble Games. This comes out May 20th. Really love the aesthetic. Love the look of this game. We saw it a couple times at a couple different shows. The last one being ID at Xbox. It was there. So go check this one out. This might appeal to a lot of people. Looks like a cool, an adventure style game.
Yeah.
So go check that out. The Wild at Heart. That's something we definitely have seen. I bet you anything, if you guys have been paying attention to the indie scene, you're going to go see the video and you'll be like, oh, that's right. I remember this game
Right.
because it has been out there for a while. Again, Moonlight Kids is the developer and Humble Games is the publisher. So that's going to be kind of a cool little game. I can't wait to check that one out, actually. I don't know if I'm going to buy it out the gates, but I know down the road I'm probably going to look at it. Then we got Knockout City coming. Now,
Uh-oh.
Knockout City is interesting.
Yeah.
Knockout City, we first saw at a PlayStation event.
Hmm.
They pumped it up at one of their. I really can't think this morning either, Steel. I know it's morning. I don't think it's nighttime, but the
Um,
brain's slipping this morning. But we saw it at one of
one of their
their
play
one of
events or whatever the
yeah,
case
the
might
play
be.
events. Yeah. And then so some people assume that it was like a PlayStation, maybe
Hmm.
timed exclusive or whatever the case may be. And then it showed up at a Nintendo, right? So between those two, then we knew it was going to be multi-plat, right?
Right.
And this is a dodgeball online multiplayer game, right? So it's
Yes.
an it's online. It's definitely multiplayer. It's dodgeball, and but with like superpowers and stuff. Looks really cool, actually.
That's dope.
I was like, whatever. Then we got the announcement that it's coming to Game Pass. And that is the game changer when we get a game that's going to Game Pass, because that means I'm going to download it and I'm going to freaking play it
Yep.
because
Guaranteed.
no risk at
Yep.
all. And being multiplayer, yeah, I'm going to throw some balls at Steel's head,
Oh
right?
God.
That's what I'm going to do.
Pause.
Pause. I'm gonna do that. So, or we're gonna team up and we're gonna go knock some
Knock
other
some other
people
people
out,
out.
right?
Yeah, facts.
Knockout City is coming May 21st, dropping into Game Pass, launches everywhere, launches on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. So it's across the board. I believe it is cross platform, and if I remember correctly, maybe even cross progression on this one as well. So this could be a cool little game because again, Game Pass, I'm downloading it, I'm trying it. So if anybody out there, chat, if you guys got Game Pass, Knockout City is showing up May 21st. Cool, cool looking little title. I can't wait to check that out. Then what do we got next? We got Miitopia.
Ooh.
Miitopia, excuse me. Obviously, this
For the
is a
Switch.
Nintendo Switch game.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime you see Wii, whatever, you know it's going to be a Nintendo game. So Miitopia, which looks like a role-playing style Me game for
Right.
your Miis. That's going to be out on May 21st as well. Then we have Rust. A lot of people have been waiting on Rust, right? First person shooter, survival game slash first person shooter game, right?
Hmm.
So Rust has been huge on the PC. Tons of people were waiting for it. I think it was like announced for console like 2 years ago, I want to say, and then they kept putting it off. Well, it's dropping. It's dropping May 21st. I fooled around. I think I'm trying to think if I ever played it. I can't remember if I did try it on a PC. Anyways, I think this game's got potential, but I think there's so much competition that even though it was big on PC, I don't know if it's going to find a home on console. But we're
Talking about
gonna
for
have to wait
Rust,
and
right?
see. Yeah, Rust. Yeah,
Um, I think because of the kind of game that Rust is, um,
yeah,
if they put it in the Game Pass, I could see it being really successful. Um, Mainly, I do agree with you though. It's kind of hard because the game's been out for so long. Unless they like, I really want them to update it. I mean, as you see, it kind of says it says PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It doesn't say PS5 and series consoles. So that kind of gives you a perspective already. Um, I don't know. I'm not gonna be interested in it, but I was never into Rust. I don't like
right.
people tricking me and then stealing all my loot. This doesn't make me feel doesn't make me feel good about myself. But nah, but it could have potential. I know a lot of people like to jump into the series. So there's no telling for it. So
Can you still hear me, Steele?
yeah, I can still hear you. But
Okay, I'm
you're
frozen on YouTube.
frozen. Yes, you're frozen. I'm about to adjust that right now.
With my mouth open
With your
and
mouth
everything.
open and
God,
everything.
that's
Yeah.
a beautiful shot.
Uh,
Enjoy that, chat.
You are
Oh
definitely
man.
frozen. I'm about
Yeah,
to fix
no.
that up right now. There you go.
All right, I'm gonna keep going here.
You're good.
So Rust, again, check it out, guys. Maybe it's for you, maybe not. I hope it does eventually jump into Game Pass. I don't think it is out the gates. I think they are charging. God, I don't even know. Is this like a review build kind of situation? Is this in there?
As far
I
as
can't
what
even
Rust
remember.
goes,
Yeah, or is it just gonna be the full launch?
at this point, I'm really hoping it's going to be the full launch. I'm not
Yeah,
completely 100% on that. But again, the game has been out for so
I know.
long,
That's what I'm saying.
man.
It's been out on PC for like ever. Well,
So
anyways, you
2018.
know.
Oh,
Yeah, 2018, right? Yeah,
mhm.
Rust. So Rust, May 21st. And then we've got the next big release, and that's probably flying under the radar because they have not done a whole lot of hyping of this game, even though this game was hyped out of the park when it first was announced, I think 67 years ago, at some point, 5 years ago. Biomutant is coming out. Biomutant is going to be the next big game, I think, that catches people maybe by surprise because a lot of people have not heard about it or they forgot completely
Facts.
about it.
Facts.
But when this was shown at, I believe it was an E3 years and years and years ago, people came out of that show talking about Biomutant because it's a very unique action RPG, semi-open world, Breath of the Wild-esque type game.
Right.
This is by THQ Nordic,
Yep.
who's publishing it. Developers Experiment 101. It's a smaller team. They put a ton of time into this game. I think they took the original script and like doubled, tripled it at one point. I think originally it was like 30,000 some kind of dialogue, and then they
Yeah.
bumped it over
It's
100,000. Now
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. Like this
It's
game
insane.
expanded well beyond whatever they originally
Yep.
envisioned it. But the cool part is you get to customize your character. Your character is
Oh,
basically an animal, right? So you get to customize your animalistic style character, right? This animal style, and they have so many it is so in depth. The character creation is so in depth. They're basically saying that no two characters are going to be alike for anybody, right? And you are set in this world with these crazy creatures. This game has like comic book style sound effect bubbles that pop up when you hit
okay.
people and when you're fighting.
Yep.
But then it had like not taking itself seriously, right? Not taking itself over the top serious. This is kind of just pure fun. But then you've got this in-depth character creation with this in-depth combat. So you've got weapons, then you've got martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able to learn and grow your skills as you progress through this game. So Biomutant is just looking absolutely incredible.
Yes.
I can't wait. I
Not
really
only
can't
that,
wait, Steele.
not only that,
Add
but
to
also
it.
come to
Add
find
to it.
out, that everything that you do within the Biomutant, as you progress through the story, your character is also going to change. I know they were saying like there's some there's like radioactive stuff that also changes your character. As you get abilities, your character
Hence
will change.
mutant.
Yeah, but hence the mutant aspect. But
Yep.
the fact that you know they throw the mutant aspect in there, but it's like the fact that they're actually going to show the representation on your actual character, I feel like it's super dope to me. The fact that every weapon that you craft is completely custom made. You're putting it together. Like let's say you find a solo cup, a stick, and a blade, out in the wild somewhere. You can literally
And a hula hoop.
in a hula hoop. You can literally go into your craft bench. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But you can literally go into your craft bench, put those pieces together, and it'll make it a weapon. Now, may it be that literal? No, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have some stipulations, like you gotta have these certain pieces to go along with these certain pieces.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that they're giving you that variety, and who knows, it could be very open and there's benefits to having a weapon one way or the other way. I just find it dope that not only that, but the game is still cross-gen. Like it's still
They
coming
haven't even
out.
talked about next gen. Like they haven't even talked.
No,
about
it's
next
not.
gen.
They
Like,
haven't talked about a
there's
next
no
gen,
enhancements, no nothing.
nothing. No specific version. It's still technically a last gen title, and for everything that they're doing in this game, it looks amazing. The world looks expansive. They're saying that your character doesn't per se have its own voice acting, but there is a voice actor. There's a narrator basically,
Right.
and the narrator basically takes on all voices for everybody that you meet. So it is technically all voiced, and that's another thing that's extremely important to me. I hate when we get into these games, man, and your character or other characters aren't voiced. I feel like it takes you out of the experience. Like I don't mind reading, but it's like at the same time, Destiny is the biggest example of that. You know, all these years over the last decade of us playing Destiny, plus, and your character has maybe 10 lines over the last like 15 years. It's like, bro, like make me feel a little more connected to my character. Like, make me feel like I'm actually part of that universe. Let me choose my voice, whatever. Like, take that next step and fully voice everything out. I love when they do that, and that's what gets me excited about Biomutant. We will be able to bring this up again next week. Because I believe it comes out that Monday or Tuesday after our next week's show. So again, we're continuing that hype train, man. Biomutant is looking exciting.
I jumped ahead on Biomutant.
No, you're good. You're good.
The next big one.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, no, because normally we don't jump that far ahead, but I just did because it's coming. So, and I want people to know about it. The devs just came out, I believe, and said that the main missions 20 to 25 hours. That's without any side missions or exploration. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty meaty game. So, you know, again, depending on what you want to do within the world. So I can't wait. So
yeah, and I'm not a Destiny hater. I love Destiny. I just can also acknowledge the fact that Destiny, campaign wise, story wise, doesn't always do the greatest. It hasn't been the greatest. Not to say that you can't follow it or whatever the case might be, but for newer people, I know it's harder for them to follow the story because it's just kind of convoluted and all over the place. If you haven't been following along, but I love that. I can't wait for them to release crossplay. I know just to jump into some gaming news. Apparently, this last week they actually accidentally turned on crossplay.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. But it was only like Stadia, wasn't it?
I've
like only Stadia. Like it was some weird thing like Stadia.
It was something like that.
I think it was something like that. Like and your Stadia friend had to be the one to be hosting the game for it to work or something like that.
Yeah,
like it was a complete mistake. I mean, it was like a total joke what they did. But yeah, that's pretty funny.
But yeah, that's something that I'm also excited for them to turn that on. But well, other than that, man, there was something else that I wanted to get into. I'm not sure if it was about Biomutant or not. It might have been, but oh well, I can't remember what it was now.
Hey, look, Trevor in the chat said he's been waiting for this for his entire life. So
hey,
Trevor,
man,
I don't know how old you are, or if you like can read the future and like back when you were a kid, you read, you saw Biomutant happening at some point, but man, awesome for you because I'm hyped as well. Shout out to Pixel Slappa who also stopped by to say hi. Appreciate that as well. So yeah.
Hey, Boogie put in some good news right there. Biomutant will be 1080 60 FPS on the One X. So you can only imagine what it's going to be able to do on the series consoles.
If they go ahead and get that beefed up and they actually do
even through back compat, even through back
compat, it's going to look gorgeous. But I'm saying they can, if they actually decide to do a next gen version and patch it up and get that certification, they should be able to push that, man. If it's 1080 60 on the One X, I bet you they can push that to at least 1440, if not
on the
4K.
Series. On the series,
maybe
up-res.
On the series, on the Series X for sure, and the Series S probably will do 1440 as well.
Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to say about Biomutant. They also, for those who are interested in the game, they also released raw, live, and uncut gameplay for not only PC but also Xbox and PlayStation. Also, that is something else that also gives me so much confidence in this game, because it is very rare that a dev comes out and says, yeah, come look at all this uncut gameplay. Nobody ever does that, and they did it on all three platforms, so they want you to know. They want you to know. Sure. They have 100% faith in what they've put into this game, that they've put out. They have a solid product, and they have, like, I think it was like 30-45 minutes of raw, live, and uncut gameplay for you guys to check out, man. And they wrote that on Twitter too, because I'm following them, and they were like, yeah, for those who aren't confident in the gameplay or whatever, check out this raw gameplay that we've put up on our YouTube. So that's something else to check out and look into.
Absolutely.
With that being said, man, look, we got a lot of excellent games coming up. Things just keep ramping up, man. Again, we're into that golden age of gaming, as Paul likes to say, as we like to continue to say here. And man, just seeing our art evolve faster than we've probably ever seen it before, especially moving into this generation again. Like I've stated before on previous podcasts, we're moving. I know everybody was like, "Oh, we're moving into Moore's law. Things are becoming stagnant. Graphics aren't going to get any better," and we're being proven wrong again. Things are moving forward. I feel like within the next 2 years, man, we're gonna be in for a treat, man. Within these next 6 months, I feel like we're gonna hear
Definitely
some.
going to be in for a treat.
I feel
We're gonna
like
be eating good.
these next 6 months are gonna be very telling. At least for what we got going on gaming. But with that said, man, what would you like to hop into next?
Well, dude, I think this is a perfect time to hop into what's going on over in China and some of the deals. Let's see. Microsoft made a deal with Timmy,
Okay.
which is part of Tencent. But I think it's just appropriate as well because today, for anybody who doesn't know, Sony launches the PS5 in China. And then we just got notification over the past couple days that Xbox will be launching in China as well
Okay.
come June. So I thought that quick little news hint here. I don't know how many people have talked about the Timmy deal.
I
Again,
don't
they
think
are
many
a
people.
part of they're a part of Tencent. And Microsoft, I think I sent you the article too.
Yes.
So pre-orders for Xbox open in China on May 19th. So why
Okay.
this is a big deal is because China's the untapped market. And again, personal political thoughts aside, okay, when it comes to China, we all know the bad side of doing business with China. I think everybody's aware of it. We understand who they are as a government. We understand that pretty much every business in China is somehow tied back to the Chinese government, right?
Yes.
We know their practices when it comes to when it comes to uh, how do we want to put this? Human labor.
Yes.
And some of their people, with genocide and that kind of stuff, we know how they are, right? But putting that aside, because we are talking about the industry, when you're talking about a global industry, which gaming now is, unfortunately, a lot of businesses or most businesses at this point put all of that aside and they do business.
Right.
Okay, that's where we're at. I think as a people, it's probably one of the hardest things to get away from,
Mhm.
unless you are somebody who really investigates and takes the time to figure out where every single product in their home is made from and really limits themselves. We all, unfortunately, at this point in life, basically this boat has sailed. We all at this point are using products that probably have not been created in the best of conditions or by the best of people, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at this point, right? So for me, it's a tough one. But let's just look at it from a gaming industry standpoint. A lot of people were kind of surprised that saw this news that Xbox partnered with a division of Tencent, but it makes a whole lot of sense when you look at it where Microsoft, Xbox, Phil and his team want to take Game Pass, Xbox, the brand itself. They want to grab as many of the 3 billion, 2 billion, however you want to count it out, gamers out there. And a large chunk of those gamers are in China. China is an untapped market for a reason, right? They have their policies don't allow for a whole lot of freedom, but there's a huge amount of the population in China that are either playing on PC or they're playing on mobile. So
Right.
for both Sony to be launching today in China and then next month, Xbox, especially being an American company, Xbox launching in China is a huge deal. And obviously this deal, this partnership with Timmy, was a big deal for them moving forward in the mobile market
Yes.
over there. They've already stated, for people who don't know, Timmy actually makes the Call of Duty mobile version for China.
Yeah. I was
So,
gonna bring some
yeah,
of that
yeah,
up. Facts.
yeah, exactly. And I'll let you bring that up too, Steele.
I'm good.
But again, Point being here is this speaks volumes to where Xbox is looking to go. And we
Mhm.
already heard from Phil and his team how important Japan is. But now we can see that obviously the entire Eastern market is a big deal. And they're going to try to break through. And in order to break through, you're going to have to make deals like this.
Yes.
Again, personal political stuff aside, this is what happens in a global industry. So I think this is also a example of, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yes.
Knowing
100%.
knowing that Tencent is a shadow that has been looming over the industry as a whole. They have got their hands in so many different places. They have invested money in so many different companies that this is something that Tencent is a real competitor. All right, they have
Mhm.
a ton of money, and they are already made their point to plant their flag in the gaming industry. They are here to stay. It'll
Yep.
be interesting to see if they decide to come out with a console. Or move into that space at all at some point. But for right now, they've got their hands in a lot of different companies. They've pretty much stuck to mobile, but obviously we know they've got huge investment in Epic games and places like that, which means they probably have aspirations to get further into this whole entire video game industry. So I think this is a good thing from a business standpoint from Microsoft. I think it's smart. They had to do something like this. It'll be interesting to see what content comes from this partnership.
Yes.
But obviously, this will go a long way to expanding the Xbox brand, which, again, for an American company, it's going to have an uphill,
Well,
maybe even
mhm.
more than an uphill, a mountain climb to break through over there.
Yeah.
But I think this is what they need to do. Go ahead, Steele. What were you going to say?
But nah, essentially, I was just going to hit it. Just was going to read some of the article just to give people
Yeah, go ahead.
some perspective. Coming from Windows Central. For those of y'all, because I like to come again, I like to come spit the facts, and also let y'all know where the knowledge is coming from. Essentially, what you need to know from this deal, this whole business deal with Xbox Game Studios, XGS, and Tencent's Timmy. What you need to know is Xbox Game Studios will work with Timmy to make new game experiences. Timmy makes popular mobile games, including Call of Duty Mobile, Honor of Kings, and Pokemon Unite. Also wanted to add on to some of those games. They have Arena of Valor, League of Legends, which is huge. Again, I believe it was our last podcast where I went into some of the numbers. I don't know if it was here. I believe it was on GRG, where I was saying that League of Legends by itself brings in almost 10 billion. It's either I think it's a year. Just brings in 10 billion a year by itself. And that's on average a player spending $90 a year. That's one player spending over $90 a year. And they have a 100 million player base, I believe. They also have PUBG Mobile, Honor of Kings, like we said, Call of Duty, Chess Rush, PUBG Mobile Lite, Crossfire, Call of Duty Online. Again, the list seemingly goes on and on. It seems like it is a huge mobile move. Again, just for Xbox to potentially establish themselves within that market. Just to kind of continue on, Microsoft's Game Studio and Tencent's Timmy announced a strategic partnership today to create new game experiences. The announcement lacks any concrete details about new games, but could be great news for mobile gamers who love Microsoft's franchises. More details about the partnership between Timmy and Xbox Game Studios were promised to arrive this year. Just to kind of continue on, through this strategic cooperation, this is one of the quotes that they put in there from their whole business transactions that they've had so far. Timmy's studio group will carry out a multi-dimensional and an in-depth cooperation and communication with Xbox Game Studios, jointly create excellent game content and bring brand new game sensory experience to players. Overall, what this just tells me is that Microsoft is really trying to solidify themselves within the mobile market. They see that play or those 2 billion gamers that they want to reach. Again, most of the gamers that I know a lot of people like to try to keep the smoke within the 3 main platforms, 4 honestly. Oh, nice. Three. Well, you got Xbox, you got PlayStation, you got PC. Yeah, so four,
Yep.
and you got Nintendo. I know a lot of people try to keep it within that space, but it spans so much further than that. Again, you can go through Twitch, YouTube, wherever. There are so many mobile gamers, and being able to bring console content, console games. To a mobile device would completely change the industry. It would turn everything on its head. Being able to play games like your Gears, your Halo, your Spider-Man, your
That's why
Horizon, your God
xCloud
of War,
exists.
any of these games, if you ever have the possibility of being able to play those games on the go, wouldn't that be a great experience? And I feel like that's the whole point of this. And I was trying to name games from all the publishers because I feel like this is a move that eventually everybody's going to take. Maybe not immediately, but definitely as we move further down the road. Again, we see why Xbox has dumped the money to it. Again,
Right.
another big reason I feel like why Microsoft spent the 7.5 for ZeniMax is for Orion. Again, they had already been talking about in the background the Orion, which is supposed to be like xCloud, had a better server base and had a better system set up than xCloud had. Apparently, we'll see how true that is as they start to implement those things, because we know that's part of the reason why they invested in that. And we'll see where that goes. But man, there's so many positive plays that could be made off of this. Again, like Paul was saying, it was something that I was going to bring up too. Sometimes you got to be the enemy of your enemies. You got to be your friend sometimes, man. And you have to make those mutual contacts. As unfortunate as it is that we do not produce more in our own country, we are dependent on these other areas, and but we also have to get them more involved, and also bring more attention to what's going on over there, so that we can start changing things on the back end too. Again, not to get too political and really dive into that, because I don't want to go into that dark hole at this current time, unless I want to. But I don't. There's just bigger plays in hand, and I'm excited to see what can happen out of it. So
Yeah, and this will be one of those partnerships. If they make any kind of waves over there, this will be one of those partnerships that we
yes,
look back on and say this was a starting point. So yeah, all the other stuff, human rights and everything else aside, this is
yeah.
what big business. This is what big business does. Unfortunately, they turn a blind eye. This is a global economy. And these things are going to happen whether we agree or not. But just from the perspective, I thought it was interesting that they made this play with Tencent, because we know for a fact that they've been side-eyeing Tencent
Yep.
for a long time. So for Xbox to come out, and we haven't heard of any other deals. I think Nintendo might have a deal with a Tencent division as well.
I could.
To see Xbox make this play, and make this move, just speaks volumes to where they really are trying to get into these places they've never been into. And I just think that we should acknowledge it and realize that if down the road Xbox becomes a thing over in China, and Game Pass blows up over there, this will be one of the starting points right here, is because of stuff like this. So anyways, let's
Yeah.
yeah, I think we covered it. I think it's just something that I wanted to bring up to the chat and let everybody know about, because I don't think a lot of people were talking about it at the end of the day. So where do you want to go next, Steel? You want to do some Starfield?
Yeah, there's since there's been some huge Starfield smoke, we could definitely get into that. Seemingly, again, I don't like to talk in facts about this specifically, because we still don't know. As y'all call him, Todd Howard, or otherwise known as the God Howard,
Todd Howard
has not
is his
come
name.
out and stated whether it's one way or not. Phil Spencer has come out and said that, look, our games are going to be available wherever Game Pass is available at. So I'm pretty sure if you guys haven't got it by now, I don't know which other way that needs to be spelled for you. I know we're still going along these lines of, it's going to be on PS5, or maybe it's going to be on the Switch. Like, and I just brought the Switch up to be funny. But there's I'm about 85-90% sure that it's going to be a console exclusive. Again, if we're going off of what we've heard from Phil so far, again, with him saying something so concretely as, if you want to play our games, they'll be available wherever Game Pass is available, meaning PC or Xbox or xCloud, then I don't know what to tell you. We also, but it seemingly, because good old Grubby Grub, Jeff Grubb, was able to clear some things up, because on a Rand's podcast yesterday, the Xbox 2, shout out to them. Y'all do a fantastic show. Love the banter between y'all. Seemingly Rand was catching some smoke about saying that him feeling that Starfield was going to be exclusive, or whatever the case. And I guess there was some back and forth. People weren't believing him, DMs and everything else.
Oh, well, yeah, and it started that day. It started that day because, or the day prior, because Jeff Grubb was on Kind of Funny.
Yes, go ahead.
And
Facts.
and obviously on Kind of Funny, they were questioning whether or not Greg Miller and those guys were questioning him as to why he was so sure about it coming out as an exclusive. And they threw in on why it would not be exclusive. And so then Grubb kind of said, he walked back. He walked his thoughts back. Yeah, kind of, right?
His initial thoughts.
In a way, right? And it was because of it was the situation he was in, and the conversation that was having. So he was trying to kind of see their point of it, and so people took that, ran with it, said Grubb is now not so sure that it's going to be exclusive. People were posting about it. Then people hit up Rand in his DMs, and were hitting up Rand during the show saying, well, Grubb doesn't think it's exclusive anymore. So then, like you were talking about, Steel, Rand put it out last night as a basically put up the bat signal to Grubb and say, hey, do you want to clear this?
And by the way,
Grubb came down.
For those who may not know, Rand al'Thor, the man with the million, is one of the most more renowned people as far as like just overall the gaming community goes. I'm not going to say specifically for the Xbox community, even though that's mostly where he gets a lot of his where seemingly people connect him to. I feel like he speaks pretty well for the overall gaming community. And yeah, again, he's the man with the million on Xbox, man. He obviously, he's a gamer. He takes his achievements seriously. And he has because he's been so involved within the community, along with Jez Corden, who's again from Windows Central. He writes for Windows Central. They both have connects behind the scenes. So I don't want anybody, I know we're involved with the community, so we know these people or whatever. But for those who may not know, or may be unfamiliar with these people, I just want to kind of give a little bit of background to who these people would be. So as we speak about them going forward, there's not like, I don't know who this Rand guy is. It's just, these are people who are in the background that have been involved within the community for a while, and kind of have their ear to the ground, and have those connections. So
exactly. And Grubb came out and responded almost instantaneously to Rand's bat signal and said flat out that this is him confirming that it will be exclusive.
Yes.
Right. And he said now go write your articles. So and people ran with it and wrote the articles last night. So really from that standpoint, again, like you were talking about, Steel, I never had any doubt about the exclusivity. All the words from Phil and the Xbox team, Starfield, and the future IPs of Bethesda are going to be exclusive to anywhere Game Pass is available. And that's basically what it's coming down to. So PC and obviously Xbox consoles as we speak, and xCloud, that's where you'll find all these ZeniMax games going forward, barring any deals that were already previously signed, and any updates to existing games such as Elder Scrolls Online. Outside of that, everything else will be exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. Period. End of story.
Yes.
So that's where we're at with that.
And I feel like this just became a thing again. I'm not over the moon about Starfield. Again, a lot of my hype or anticipation for Starfield is just based off of what we know of Todd Howard. Again, there's a reason why you guys call him the God Howard. When you look up these games,
can't believe you just said that.
What?
You're not that hyped.
I'm not. I'm hyped because I believe in
Can't do
you.
the show.
I believe in
Can't
you
do the show
guys
with you.
when you call this man the God Howard, and I have to believe it. I have to believe it when you go back and look at games like Skyrim, Fallout 3, Oblivion, and just the overall what he's done with the Elder Scrolls series. Obviously, this man has the eye, he has the hand, he has the artistic ability to bring out God tier games. And what I mean by that, I mean like games that are like renowned games.
Okay, now you're speaking.
That
Now
are
you keep going.
that are undeniable. And again, you can look this information up yourself. Every game that you pull up, when you type in Todd Howard games and you see Elder Scrolls, Fallout 3, Skynet, Terminator, when you look down this line, it's like, I've heard of these games before. It doesn't matter if you've played them or not. You've heard about these games. And then when you hear people like Pong, say, hey, I trust in this man's work, and then there's so many. It's not just Pong. It's you go down the line, and it's like 10 other people behind him, and then there's 50 people, and there's 100 people that are like, yeah, he does good work. It gives me faith that this, at least from what he touches from out of Bethesda, has a very high potential. So to see it come out again, we've seen some leaked screenshots. Again, that have been since confirmed. Were accurate or were actual screenshots from the game from 2018. And like we talked about a little bit in the background, if those screenshots are official, we're in for a treat because this game looks insane so far from what we're just able to tell from these screenshots. I'm actually going to see if I can pull some of these up. Just because, man, you can't really tell. Again, it's one of those things to where you can't really tell how much details is in it or whatever the case might be. But man,
and to catch people up. Wait, hold on, Stu. Just to catch people up too. No, just to catch people up. I didn't want to interrupt you, but just to catch people up too. These screenshots. So we went from Jeff Grubb verifying that it's going to be exclusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, what happened yesterday? Mass Effect Legendary Edition was trending everywhere. People were talking about it, and all of a sudden, we get some screenshot leaks that from I guess. The sources are behind the scenes, but anyway, Skullsy is one of the main guys. He's for people who don't know, go follow him if you're interested in Bethesda games. The guy has been doing work on the internet for a long time on Bethesda stuff. He does seem to have some very good inside sources when it comes to Bethesda. Bethesda has acknowledged him in the past. And so what happened was that these screenshots were leaked out. He was told to go ahead and make a video about it.
Yep.
Which he found kind of weird. So this seems like a controlled leak situation. Yep. There has been word that people actually have access to over 100 plus pictures of the 2018 build, but those people are withholding some of those, or a lot of them, the majority of them, because they don't want the actual leaker who originally leaked them to get in trouble. But Bethesda is aware of the situation and seems to be okay with it at this point in a lot of ways. Again, that's all unofficial.
Yep.
But again, the people, I've been watching Skullsy now for a little bit, and he seems legit. He seems to know what he's talking about, and he confirmed that these were the 2018 build. Grubb has also seemingly confirmed that he's been aware of these as well. They were in his Discord. So this is something behind the scenes that a lot of people held on to out of respect. But I think now they're kind of getting the okay to show some of them. So we can go ahead and probably say these are confirmed screenshots from 2018 as much as they can be confirmed without Bethesda coming out and saying, hey, here's our 2018 build, guys.
Yeah.
But that's just to catch up people on where this stuff kind of came from. So go ahead, continue on, Steele.
But not Trevor also brought up a good question in the and this could be more so for you because you probably have a little more experience with these games than I do. Todd Howard with Bethesda Game Studios, and excuse me if I say this name wrong, or Fergus Urquhart from Obsidian Entertainment.
Ooh, again, big brother, little brother situation, right? Obsidian has been the little brother to, Bethesda
Wouldn't
for
you
a
say they've
very
kind of
long time.
competed with against each
Out,
other per se?
because of New Vegas, right? That conversation got started. And obviously a lot of people feel that Obsidian did Fallout better than the original creators of Fallout in Bethesda. So when New Vegas came out, and
That's what
that's what
my wife
started that whole
says.
thing.
My wife
Yeah,
completely
right.
agrees.
Yeah, yeah.
She loves
Yeah,
New
and so
Vegas.
and so do I. I think New Vegas is the best one
Yeah, facts.
for facts. So
Okay.
I think Obsidian, let me put it to you this way. Obsidian is in the conversation. If Avowed comes out and hits, right, and they do Avowed the right way, and Avowed is on the Elder Scrolls level, which they themselves have come out and said they're going for a bigger, more dense version of Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
They pull that off, then you've got to say that Oblivion has caught Bethesda. Okay, as far as a Western RPG maker, because we already know through like Outer Worlds and that kind of stuff, they have the chops. They know about character development. They know
Hmm.
about design choices. They know about actual decision making within the game.
Facts.
They are on that level. If they pull off Avowed, which will be their first, I would say, gigantic, when I'm talking about just from a scope perspective,
Hmm.
right? They've made all these other games from a scope perspective. They pull off Avowed in their own world, right? And they make it as well as Elder Scrolls usually winds up being like a Skyrim.
Hmm.
Then yes, you are talking about those two guys as neck and neck. I still give it right now to God Howard just
Okay.
because he's been doing it for longer. And his pedigree is there. Not to say that Obsidian hasn't been around for quite a while, and they've obviously did Knights of the Old Republic 2, which was, again, from peak BioWare. Peak BioWare went to Obsidian and said, "Hey, we need you to do the sequel to Knights of the Old Republic, one of the most beloved franchises in history as
Yeah.
well, and one of the biggest franchises in Star Wars." They gave it to Obsidian because they trusted them, and they pulled off Knights of the Old Republic 2, which in my opinion is the better game. I know a lot of people like Knights of the Old Republic 1 better. I
Hmm.
personally like Knights of the Old Republic 2 better. They asked them to do that. That was from peak BioWare at the time. BioWare and Bethesda were considered the two best RPG makers at that point. And then Bethesda asked them, "Hey, can you do a Fallout for us?" Right? So again, that's why I say big brother, little brother, because they were always the little brother, where the big brothers are coming to them and saying, "Hey, can you do the sequel for us? We really trust you."
I
And they
mean,
proved themselves.
and it
So
seems
now,
seemingly they always seem to prove themselves because
yep.
and if you ask me that question, if I just gotta look, if I was gonna look through, if you said, hey, look at these Bethesda games and now look at these Obsidian games, when like list for list, I'm kind of would lean more to the Obsidian side. Again, they've put out games, just to go through a little bit of a list. The Outer Worlds, Pillars of Eternity, Grounded, they got Avowed coming, Star Wars, like you were saying, the Knights of the Old Republic 2, Tyranny, New Vegas, the Outer Worlds DLC, Neverwinter Nights 2, another classic, South Park, Wasteland 2, Alpha Protocol, Dungeon Siege, we said the Outer Worlds, and like the list goes on and on. Armored Warfare, of games that they've put out, and they've now. What's crazy to me is that seemingly they were competing against each other, right? Yeah, you could say the little brother, big brother kind of mentality kind of thing was going on, but honestly, to me, it came across like they were competing because they were. It was kind of like, oh, let me show you that I can make your game better than you can make it. And it's kind of like
there was a little bit more than even competition
really.
there for a while. Yeah, Obsidian and Bethesda had some bad blood at one point.
Oh, okay.
So because Bethesda felt a certain way when people started recognizing New Vegas as the best Fallout game. And
And it's
there was some stuff behind the scenes. Now again, at this point, it sounds like it's all water under the bridge and whatever.
Facts.
They're one big happy family
Right.
at this point. So yeah.
Which is dope because now it's like, okay, y'all were kind of competing against each other before, and now y'all are in one house. So now, what is the possibilities? I feel like it's like you walked up to a door and just kicked it completely off the hinges, because now you get that possibility for a New Vegas too. And not only do you have Obsidian in it, but you also have Bethesda. Is Todd Howard going to have some involvement in it now too, where he's going to be able to put in some of his own input, or they're going to send it up the chain, and there's going to be so many, especially when they start getting back in the office. Can you imagine them not being able to just go in each other's offices and seeing what they got going on and taking ideas from each other, taking a vow to that? Bro, it's like, what potential does a vow really have untapped at this point? Because there's no telling where they could take it now. Two of the best.
Trevor, I was gonna point out the specifics, but since you just pointed it out in the chat,
Lord
props
Howard.
to you, brother, for remembering as well what the real deal was. So, because Bethesda didn't pay Obsidian the bonus because they missed the Metacritic by 1 point.
That's
and that again,
I'd be salty
it
too.
it was more than that, but that was like the cherry on top of that awful pie that was happening at that point, because Bethesda got real petty when it came down to it, and that was a huge deal. So shout out to you, Trevor, for remembering that. That was awesome. Yeah,
and that's super dope. But yeah, it's just there's so much potential with what we got going on. Starfield has unlimited potential, unlimited and untapped potential. Also, again, if we're going to take, as people have said, if he's going to be the God Howard, I need to see why you guys feel this way. Starfield's coming into Game Pass. It's a brand new game, brand new title. It's going to give me a chance to at least dive into. I've watched my wife play some of the Fallout games. So far, New Vegas was the one that caught my attention the most. I tried to play it. I couldn't really get into it. But at the same, yeah, I went in and I was trying to kill everybody. Like, as soon as she told me, hey, you can kill anybody, I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna start killing people. You know what I mean? And it didn't go well. And before you know it, I'm about almost 2 hours into the game, and
he was on a murdering spree.
I got the whole world against me, and I'm like, yo, I can't talk to nobody now.
Oh my god.
But nah, it's just I couldn't get into it. It just wasn't for me at the time, and that's all right. I can still acknowledge a solid game. You know what I mean? And I definitely have more of an open mind now. I can't go back to those older games because they don't age very well for me. Again, I'd rather play those games from a third person perspective than the first person, personally. They don't always look the greatest in the third person. That bothers me. And there's just other games I'd rather play. Other than Neverwinter, I was heavily invested in Neverwinter, especially around 2006 when it released. That was, again, it was one of those games. You couldn't get away from it. You know what I mean? So, especially if you were into Diablo. It was like Neverwinter was like you had to get into, you had to at least check it out. You know what I mean? So. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. E3 should be a fun time. Hopefully they release some good stuff.
Oh, they're going to. It's going to be a full-blown showcase of Starfield. I still am going to die on this hill, even though Grubb yesterday said that he is less sure it's coming out in 2021 than he was before.
Yeah.
So pouring some cold water on things a little bit. He said it wasn't anything specific that he heard. He said there was maybe a couple little tidbits here and there, but it was more of a feeling that he was getting that it was potentially not going to be here 2021. I'm still going to die on the hill. I think it's coming out this year. They've put too much into it. I think there's too many signs, too much smoke that it is going to happen 2021. But again, the screenshots yesterday, like you pointed out, of Starfield Steel, I think they showed a whole lot of promise. Considering that build is 3 years old, going on even longer than 3 years old. What they could have done between there and now, especially with the upticks and obviously the new consoles coming out, and some of the new drivers for the PC side of things and the new graphics card for the PC side of things. I can't wait to see what Howard and his team have done since then, what this is going to look like. Yes, we don't know anything about the game. I am just hyped purely on a inner child level, I still get hyped
Right.
for things, and I refuse to temper my expectations in most cases
Nothing
when it
wrong with
comes
that.
to this stuff, because I just like to enjoy it like a little kid. I'm just looking at pictures going, yes, yes, I can see it. I know what this is going to be. It's going to be the most amazing sci-fi adventure I've ever taken outside of Mass Effect, right? This is going to be the new big thing for me. And it could totally come out and not be that at all. But at the same time, I let my hype run wild
Mhm.
just because I do trust Bethesda. I do trust God Howard and what he's done in his past. And I think that being that this is his personal baby that he's wanted to do for a long time,
Mhm.
and it's his first new IP and whatever it's been 15 years, 25 years, whatever the heck it's been since he originally started on Fallout. Um, I'm just hyped. I'm excited. I want to see what his vision is, and I can't wait to see it and just to get the glimpse of those pictures from 2018 build. I can already see the potential. And if the Starship ones that also kind of came out, and there's talk that we might be able to customize our ships or
Oh
build
man,
ships
it's
and
gonna be dope.
travel. Oh my God. I want it. I want it. I want it. E3 is right around the corner. I cannot wait to see it because I think they're going to do a big, gigantic showcase, and we're going to get to finally see what this game is all about. So I am hyped, hyped, hyped for this. And like you were talking about, Steel, the potential going forward with Xbox now having some of, if not all, of the latest Western RPG style developers, maybe outside of CG Project Red, um, is so uh, goosebump inducing at
Yeah.
this point because of the what they can share with each other and how they can bounce off of each other and getting back to that internal friendly competition which we know is going to be there. You know that when Avowed comes out, Todd and his team over there are going to be looking at it, going, what did they do? Especially if it scores really high.
Mhm.
What do we have to do to surpass that with Elder Scrolls 6?
Exactly.
And how are we going to remain the kings of Western RPGs, right? That
Mhm.
that friendly competition will push as well internally. So I am super excited for that.
Heck yeah.
Cannot wait. Oh man. Oh man, I'm pumped.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of untapped potential. Um,
Ah,
yo,
future's bright.
again, um, what makes this so great, man, is just being able to take these conversations to the next level. Again, we weren't in the background trying to decide what we were trying to talk, what we were going to talk about. We hit some we had some few key points, and you see how it goes. We just have a natural conversation, organic conversation. We end up talking about all the things that we've talked about so far, for as long as we've talked about them, and that's just through passion, man. You know, you can't help that. I can't, again, it's an exciting time to be a gamer. There's a lot of exciting moves that are happening, and I mean, again, like you were saying, it kind of gets you giddy inside. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But just to kind of keep it moving on, as we are about an hour and 40 in, I did want to kind of touch on, we'll touch on the R&D for Nintendo also, then wanted to update some stuff.
Go where you want to, brother.
I know you had some key words that you wanted to touch on for as far as like the revolution for the PS5. It's the PS5 is starting to look like the revolution it promised. Uh,
You gonna bring up that article?
I,
We're gonna dive in.
Well, I
All
mean,
right.
we're gonna talk. We can talk about it for a little bit. I mean, overall, I think one of the points that you were making in the background was that the person that made this article kind of came across. They were saying it like they weren't on one side or the other. But throughout the article, it kind of still comes across like you're representing from one side. But I mean, if you want to touch on that a little deeper.
Sure. If we want to go here, we can go here. So what Steele's alluding to here, Steele, and I don't know if you want to bring up the article or not.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up right now.
It was a article out of Wired by Peter Rubin earlier this week, and I've read some of his stuff in the past before, and he's a good writer.
Mhm.
I'm not going to take away anything from the guy, and he made some interesting. There's some interesting points in this article overall, and I saw where he was going. But Here's my problem, right? Okay, number one, if you're going to make an opinion piece, which this is, right, and you're going to have an opinion, and you are going to have an argument as to what your headline is, right? And his headline is the PlayStation 5 is starting to look like the revolution it promised. If you are going to make that statement and you are coming from that side of things, okay, then your article, and again, I'm not a professional journalist. I will tell you this. I do have some background in writing. I was going to school at one point in my life, which seems decades, well, it was technically decades ago, but anyways, to become a journalist. And so I do have some knowledge of how this works. If you're going to take an article and you're going to write it from the standpoint that you are making, you have an argument and you want to prove that point to your readers, right? You want to provide all the supporting documentation to your readers. That is fine. That's what you're supposed to do. But when you take a word like revolution, okay, because his point was that it's not just an evolution, but that the PS5 is a revolution, then you should be able to have some strong enough points that your article does not have to. Your article should include the facts as to why you believe that, but it should not exclude information to try to make your case stronger. If you're going to stand on something that way, you should be able to stand on the facts and facts alone and not have to exclude certain things to skew your words, to skew your argument, right? And that was my problem here, right? He's calling the PlayStation 5 a revolution. Okay. I call it an evolution, right? And I think most people would say the series consoles are an evolution of Xbox. And I think that the PlayStation 5 is an evolution of, PlayStation, right? He's calling it a revolution, trying to say that it's game changing. Now, within this article, he starts out by obviously pointing out how many consoles have sold, et cetera, the standard way. But right out the gates, in the second paragraph in this article, he says, in the world of gaming, PlayStation reigns supreme, but it isn't supreme. It's not engineering scarcity to create marketing buzz like a streetwear company. It's trying to get its $399 console into customers' hands. Okay, stop. Right there, you can see how he's already writing. This now is becoming a fluff piece, not an opinion piece. This is now a fluff piece for Sony, in my opinion. Okay. Because right out the gates, maybe some of you guys didn't catch it, but he said it's trying to get its $399 console into customers' hands. He completely ignores reality that the disc version of PlayStation 5 is $499. Okay. The $399 version, I think some of the latest stats is maybe less than 10% of the total make of PlayStation 5 out of everything produced is a discless version. So we already know how hard it is to find a PlayStation 5, let alone the all digital version. But he uses the all digital version price to make it look more appealing. So when people are reading this article, right, and they're thinking about PlayStation 5,
$400.
most people are right, exactly. $400. And most people are going to see the Series X at $500, right? And because again, most people see the Series X and not the Series S, even though the Series S is becoming more popular. What he's trying to do here is place PlayStation in a better light out of the gate by ignoring the facts. Okay, and that's where I start to have an issue with this, is because you should not have to do that. Again, that's why to me this becomes a fluff piece and not a real article, as far as like, hey, I'm a journalist, I'm writing about what I believe, here are the facts, I'm going to lay them out to you, A, B, C, D, this is why I believe this, right? This is where this transforms. And this just goes back to our conversations previously about journalism, gaming journalism in particular, and where it's going, and why that the journalism, gaming journalism itself has lost a lot of credibility. And it's articles like these that I feel like do a disservice to what they're trying to do, right? Or what they should be trying to do. So for me, right out the gates, that was like, okay, are you kidding me right now? The rest of the article, he he avoids, which is fine. Again, this is an article about PlayStation. There's no reason to bring up any Xbox stuff, but the other thing right out of the gates that he does is he talks about, let me see if I can find it here real quick.
I think I got what you're talking about for the day a new game console comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. I want you to take this into consideration. Just listen to what this man says in this.
I've got
it's something we talked about in the background. All right, you want to read it?
I'll read it. Go ahead. So again, this is down a little bit further in his article, but he's talking about the day a new game console comes out is about far more than just shiny new piece of hardware. It's also traditionally a chance for a company to make an argument for said hardware through software, including games that could only be played on the console. So obviously he's talking about exclusives, right? We all know that the exclusives. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another. Take a listen, guys. System sellers can happen anytime, but launch system sellers, now he's talking about games, again, exclusive games as a system seller. Launch system sellers are a special breed. Think Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox. Good point. Resogun on the PS4. Super Mario 64.
Okay.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Okay. Hell, think Wii Sports. Which one out of that list does not fit?
I can give you an answer. Resogun.
Go ahead, Skip. At what point in any history, in any alternate universe, have you ever thought to yourself, boy, that Resogun on PS4, again, great game. Love House Marquee. One of my favorite developers out there, up and coming, just did a great game for PS5 in Returnal, right? Not taking away from the game. But in what universe, in what alternate reality has Resogun ever been considered a system seller for the PS4? Ever. Never, ever, ever was that a system seller. Again, we know we can go back and look who had the better launch lineup back then. And again, this is coming from a person who bought PS4. I did not buy Xbox One out the gates. Okay. Xbox One didn't come to me until like 2017, 2018. Yeah. PS4 was my main console. I bought it because I liked what they were talking about versus what Microsoft was talking about at the time. That was me. But we know that the stronger launch lineup was with the Xbox One. We know that they had the better exclusives out the gate. Resogun, yes, it was an exclusive, but it was not a system seller. People were not running out to buy PS4s because of Resogun. Period.
Yeah.
Okay. 100%. Again, so that those two things right there were the main parts. The rest of the article, again, it's well written.
Opinion piece.
But the point of fact is that his argument that this is that the PlayStation 5 is a revolution falls flat with me. And again, I think this article does a disservice to journalism in particular, because it's another example where you are presenting yourself in one light, trying to say that, hey, I'm trying to make this argument, but then your writing itself and the words that you are using are saying, hey, I'm just writing a fluff piece about PlayStation 5 because there's been a whole lot of goodwill going to Xbox's way, and I want to make sure that PlayStation gets a little light. Right? Because the rest of his arguments are the basic stuff. None of it is like over game. The haptic feedback. Yeah. The haptic feedback is game change, is a revolution. It's not.
Opinion.
It's an opinion. It's not a revolution because, again, Rumble was a revolution. Yeah. The Rumble in general was a revolution. That was something we had never seen before. Yep. Haptic feedback is an evolution of that. And in fact, it's a feature that a lot of people are turning off. Myself included, I would not probably wind up using it. I turn off Rumble in a lot of my games at this point. I do not feel that it is that big a deal, and it's actually more annoying to me in a lot of ways with the games. The same with the haptic feedback triggers. I would turn those things off in a heartbeat. I don't want my triggers fighting back against me. No. That does not get me into the game anymore. Again, is it opinion based? Yes. But I think from most people's definition, it would just be an evolution of what we saw in the Rumble. The
Right.
Rumble itself was a revolution because it had never been done before in a controller, and it changed how people felt when they played, when they had a controller in their hand. The haptic feedback is just an evolution of that. So, like I said, a lot of his points here, again, they're light, right? They're just light with what, he goes on to say, now 6 months after the launch, a new phase of PS5 games has begun. Titles that are leveraging the console's capabilities to push forward. First was Returnal, that really pushed PS5. Again, a lot of people that have played Returnal say they can be played on PS4, that there's nothing crazy about it. It's a gorgeous game, it's a fun game, people are having a great time with it. Is it really pushing the capabilities forward outside of the loading times, which we all know is in both consoles, right? The SSDs
Right.
are faster than everything. Let's see, the creepy roguelike shooter received raves for its immersive narrative techniques and atmospheric
Mm-hmm.
gameplay that tapped into the PS5's 3D audios and haptics like nothing before it. So again, his point being is that these evolutions are actually revolutionary because suddenly we're playing something that we've never been able to play before. That's not true. You don't need those things to play Eternal, right?
No.
So again, I've read this guy before in the past. I enjoy his writing. I think he's done a good job. Wired, has been a magazine that's been around for a long time, a publication that's been around, and done good
Incredible.
work. But again, this goes back to why Steele and I have talked about this, and a lot of people have harped on journalists lately in the gaming industry and what it means going forward. And again, if they want to be taken seriously, and if they want to push the industry in the right direction when it comes to journalism, then they need to hold themselves to a higher standard. And again, these fluff pieces don't do anything but discredit, in my opinion, what they're trying to do. If you love PlayStation and you think PlayStation's doing a great thing, great, awesome, man. I agree. PlayStation's doing a lot of great things,
Right.
but you don't have to write a fluff piece to do it and try to hide that fluff piece into an opinion where you are, again, leaving out certain facts or context, and it changes the whole narrative when I'm reading that article.
Yeah.
It's my
Facts.
opinion. Just my
Facts.
opinion, my words. That's just where I'm at with it.
And I'm among the same thought process again, like we were talking about in the background. Basically, what it was coming across to me is that because of the few console exclusives and the haptic feedback and all that, this is what's determining that this is a next gen console. For me,
Right.
it doesn't do that. I've had hands on with a PS5 controller. I don't like the way that it feels. Again, I've never been a huge fan of the Sony controllers anyway. I like having my analogs to set up the way that they are with my Elite controller. Even with my Elite controller, I'd rather have the trigger locks than haptic feedback. To me personally, I'd rather have that slight press versus my triggers fighting back. I turn off all vibrations on my controller. I don't like any of the extra. I want my controller to feel weighty, to where the buttons don't stick, the D-pad feels nice, the thumbsticks feel good. The fact that I can adjust the tension on this Elite controller is much more important to me than some gimmick plastic cog pieces that are in your triggers that are going to eventually break, and you're going to have to get a new controller anyway. Even with a stock controller, if people are loving it, that's great. That's the whole point of this, right? They did all this R&D and research and development so that people would see these things and be interested in them, and give them a reason to be invested. Again, I don't care about feeling raindrops on my fingers. I don't care about none of that. Does the game play smooth? The game should pull me in. If that's not what we're talking about, then what are we really doing? All these gimmicks that they're putting in, the Kinect was a gimmick. Again, I care about the, more so about the simple stuff. Do I have a good controller that's going to play well? Do I have solid games that are going to play well? Or do these games interest me, and force me to think, not force me to think, but give me some kind of FOMO or make me feel some kind of way that I need to get a PlayStation console. No. And trying to make it come across like, PlayStation is so revolutionary and people keep throwing around they've sold 8 million consoles. The thing is going so great. Why is Xbox is only maybe 1 million or 2 million behind Sony then, from what we've been hearing? And they don't have any exclusives. They don't have any first-party games.
Facts.
What we're going through is a revolution in gaming overall. The reason that Sony is selling, yes, one is because they have the mind share. PlayStation has been popular since the 90s, man. So of course they're going to sell. But nowadays people are seeing, again, people say, because I've been seeing people say all week, PlayStation would have got these numbers regardless. No, the biggest reason why we're seeing the numbers that we're seeing is because even people keep saying, again, it's only about 200,000, 100,000 more than what PlayStation 4 was selling. So people are like, they're selling so much more than they do. No, it's not that much more. Yes, there is more interest, but that's because people are at home. If people weren't at home and traveling and doing everything else, we'd probably be seeing similar numbers, maybe a little more. Yes, we would have seen growth in game. We see growth in gaming year over year.
Industry is healthier than ever before because of a lot of different things happening right now.
Exactly. Mainly what's happened with the pandemic and everything has done nothing but been like jumper cables in your car. It jump started everything. Again, Microsoft wasn't expecting to hit 30 million for another 3 years. Like, that just gives you perspective. Like, they were already looking down the road and they're already seeing numbers churn that much faster than they ever were anticipating. So let's see what happens as these numbers die off. Yes, the demand is there. Yes, we can't get enough, you can't get enough consoles out there or whatever the case might be. I 100% agree with that. There is more interest in it. But again, people make it seem like Microsoft is tailing so far behind or Nintendo so far behind, but just in the UK, just this month, let's just use this as an example. PlayStation is the number 3 as far as top sell consoles.
Talk about it.
In the UK. And the UK was just the number 1 place for PlayStation.
Again, if you want to look at big picture, but that's no problem, Steele. And what you're getting at is that people don't look at the big picture. Again, it's all used for narratives that people want to run with instead of just looking at the big picture and analyzing what's really happening here, right? We could say that the UK numbers are because PlayStation couldn't make enough consoles. Absolutely.
We could say the same thing about Xbox.
We could say the same thing for Xbox, but that's what people miss nowadays. And again, that's where journalists, I think that's where it's the journalists, the real professional journalists who get paid to do this stuff, they are supposed to think bigger than the people, the fans and us as customers who are out here, talking about this stuff. They're supposed to be the ones that are taking a step back and looking at it from a satellite view and not adding to these narratives of just looking at such a small little piece, right? They're looking ground level. They're amongst the fans talking fan stuff or looking at these situations from that perspective. They should look at it the bigger picture because they are a part of the industry. They are getting paid to be a part of the industry, and I feel that they should take a step back and look at it and be able to analyze it from a higher view and say, look guys, these are what the numbers could really mean, but we got to look at all of these different things that are causing this, right? All these different things that have come together at this moment in time to make the gaming industry bigger than it ever has been in history. And this is what the numbers really could be telling us. Not PlayStation is still crushing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're still doing really well, right? And Xbox is doing really well. And Nintendo is having record numbers. Switch is about to become the best-selling, or has the chance to become the best-selling console of all time. Right? All for different reasons. There's a lot that goes into us, and it's not just because PlayStation, or Xbox didn't do this or Xbox didn't do that, or the old way of thinking needs to be tossed out. We need to look at this from a higher view. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there.
No, you're good.
Again, you know what I'm saying? I just that's part of this whole thing, and why I think that the journalists community themselves need to start policing themselves a little bit better. You know, from a standpoint of hold yourself to a higher standing. If you're going to be an opinion, fluff-based fan writer, then do that, but come out and say that that's what you are and present yourself that way. I don't have any issue in that whatsoever.
Right.
More power to you, but don't try to be say you're above it all and then write these kind of things that do a disservice to what's really happening out there. Don't do that, because again, then it gives people the wrong impressions about who you really are, what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And that's not what you're supposed to be as a journalist. You're supposed to be a neutral party writing articles on interesting subjects, and you're supposed to do it that way unless you are officially an opinion writer or a fluff piece writer or somebody out there that's just a fan person who has decided to write articles for a living. That's it. That's
right.
it.
And exactly. And I feel like, and again, well, I mean, we always tie right back into this. That is the most important thing for me, is that we bring attention to gaming overall. Again, this whole one console being better than the other console thing, even though both consoles are very similar in many ways. And yes, again, Xbox is definitely the more powerful console as far as on paper goes. And again, I mean, like, I understand why people say content and games and all these other things that people like to talk about, because those things are important. But at the same time, just because you've had a chance to play everything, and just because you're interested in a certain type of game and those games are on this other side of the fence, doesn't mean that there isn't anything over there. Or that your competitor isn't doing well, or things aren't going the way that they need to, when in all actuality, what we should be talking about is how much gaming is growing over this last couple years. You know what I mean? Especially over this last year, and how much further it can go. Yes, it's wonderful that PlayStation is getting all these sales in, but again, I expect that. I don't go into any generation to expect for PlayStation not to be one of the #1 selling consoles. I expect it every time. Like, I don't expect anything less.
That's why, Steel, when we were talking about the doom and gloom, people were coming with the doom and gloom for PlayStation. I said the same thing here and on other shows. Like, guys, calm down. It's not doom and gloom for Sony, right? This is not. Industry is healthier than it ever has been. Stop with these stupid narratives and running with this garbage, because it's not doom and gloom for anybody right now. Everybody is off the charts right now. Enjoy it, but look at it for what it is, and realize that the facts that are happening right now are dictating this success. But nobody is going to die off. Sony is not going to die off like all of a sudden out of the blue, just because they decide to go a different direction, because Jim Ryan decides to make some decisions, whether you agree or not.
Yeah, facts. I mean, that's 100%. I mean, there's no telling where everything's going to go. I'm extremely excited where things are going to head. But like I tell people all the time, Sony has not given me a reason to invest into their PlayStation 5 yet. And nobody can convince me otherwise of that just yet. Why? Because I know what I'm interested in as a gamer. And I feel like as gamers, that's what people need to be paying attention to. What do you like? What are you into? Nobody's telling you to wait. If people are telling you to wait, then you probably shouldn't be listening to those people. But guess what? On the Xbox side, if you're looking for console exclusives, you're going to have to wait. Why? Because if you've been paying attention to the overall gaming space over the last decade, Xbox has just started making this move in 2013, moving into the digital era, and then solidified it in 2017 and said, hey, this is what we are going to do. Now it's a pillar. And now, since it's become a pillar with Xbox Game Pass, again, like Somos came out and said, I give him the utmost credit, because he was one of the #1 people who came out and said it and caught a lot of flack for it, is Xbox Game Pass is the platform now. Xbox is just a bus.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's perfectly fine. It's Xbox's play. They saw the competition. They said, hey, we can't compete with console sales. We know that Sony has the my share. Sony's been doing this since the 90s. We can't compete with that. So what can we compete with? If you can't beat them, create a different way to win, right? You have to work to your strengths. You have to play to what you're good at. Microsoft is good at spending money, investing in services, playing to the services, and using that to their advantage. We see it on PC. Like, I don't care what anybody tells me, brother. Like, if you have a PC, 9 times out of 10, you're probably on a Windows PC. You're using Windows, which is Microsoft. Which is why I consider Microsoft part of the PC, because you can't get away from it. Either way, you have to cut them off a piece of pie somewhere. Again, everything is becoming so inclusive. Everything is going in such a great light. But it's one of those things. Get what you're interested in. Play what you're interested in. Listen to the people that you find interested in and that you can put trust in. And other than that, mind your goddamn business, brother. Like, all this, like, people get so involved and so emotional about what goes on with the community, bro. And it's cool, I understand, but there are so many people like myself, the younger generation, who grew up in the internet era. And I know a lot of people like to seek attention and everything else, but I also have an understanding and and reasoning that this isn't new. People want attention. People want to do clickbait. People are going to want to put themselves out there and get ridiculed and criticized at everything because maybe they don't have actual things going on in their real life. Or maybe they've played every single game that's known to man and they don't find anything interesting. Dog, I can't help you. Whether you're a guy, gal, I can't help you. If you've played everything, you find nothing interesting anymore. Play what you love, buy what you're, invest in the ecosystem that you're invested in, and keep it pushing. Nobody is ever saying, yo, you need to be waiting. No, man, it's gaming. Play what you want, right? But anyway, that's neither here or there. I feel like we definitely knocked that out of the park. PS5 is a revolution the same way the Xbox is a revolution. Honestly, I feel like that whole article, just to wrap it up, I feel like the article's capped because, again, it's a clickbait title.
Wait, we were talking about an article?
Yeah, PlayStation being revolutionary. Yeah, goddamn right. You goddamn right. We're talking about a damn article, man. Revolutionary.
We took a hard left at Albuquerque.
You can revolutionize these nuts. How about that? Nuts and bolts.
I love us. But it's, pause.
Pause. A heavy pause. But it's just, it's crazy, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Honestly, in my perspective, Xbox is more so revolutionizing everything because they see the full digital play that's at hand, whereas Sony isn't fully invested in that yet. And that's okay.
Game Pass is a revolution.
Yeah, Game Pass is a revolution. Game Pass is making millions of people look at gaming differently. It's not just your Twitter circle or your Facebook circle or your Reddit circle. It's making millions of people look at gaming differently. There's a reason, like we were already in a spot where it was like, oh, I'm gonna spend $60 for this game, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Now it's like, oh, the game's coming in Game Pass, let me try it out. Oh, I love this game. Oh, it's leaving, let me buy it. Like, come on, man. There's so much untapped potential that we're moving into. But anyway, we don't have to touch on this, but I will say this real quick. I put it in the title, so I do want to touch on it. Nintendo.
What do you mean? What do you mean? We gotta touch on everything in the title?
Nintendo doing R&D, man. Like, Nintendo's apparently doing R&D, basically, as we've been knowing in the background. What they basically brought up in this article from NintendoLife.com is that they're basically, they're in the works of putting out a new Nintendo Switch console, whether it be the Pro, Plus, whatever they're going to call it. That's what they're working on. And a statement that they put up on here, which I will see if I can pull up. Yes. They said, our software development costs, which include outsourcing, are increasing as we work to maintain a continuous stream of new titles for Nintendo Switch as it enters the middle of its life cycle. Because per title development costs are higher now than they were on past platforms, which Nintendo, you're making a fucking killing, man. Like what? We anticipate that R&D expenses will continue to rise as we work to maintain a sizable lineup of titles. Nintendo, you're really okay. I need to say this real quick because I've seen people say this throughout the week, and I don't want to deep dive. People keep saying that, oh, well, you know, Nintendo doesn't have this problem with their titles when it comes out. They don't do, you know, people were talking about Halo earlier in the week, and they were like, oh, people setting all these expectations for Halo. Oh, you should want Halo to be this and that. Oh, look at Nintendo. They release Mario and they do all this Q&A and all this background work to make sure their games don't release broken. They don't have to do much when they're releasing the same games over and over again. What do you want from them? You're getting the same Mario you got 10 years ago. Of course they don't have no problems. What are you saying,
Steel? Recycling games?
They're recycling games to y'all, and y'all are using it as an excuse, trying to compare it to what everybody else is doing.
Respect that hustle.
They have y'all so mesmerized. Like, oh, look at Nintendo. Mario doesn't come out broken. Yeah, I hope Mario doesn't come out broken. Why? If Mario came out,
it wasn't broken 25 years ago. Why would it be broken now?
Like, come on, man.
Same stuff.
Like it's not a good example to use. They're recycling games, reusing games. Nintendo doesn't come out with new games all that often. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not recycled games, yes, you have those titles that slide on through there, like Animal Crossing, but that's still a renowned title because there was other ones that were already established. So of course, it's like you're working off of that. But anyway, just to continue, we are also conducting a variety of studies, which include investigating ways to enhance.
From to reading again.
You like that, right?
Yeah, I do.
We're investigating ways to enhance our digital business and future services that will help maintain long-term relationship with our consumers, as was touched on in corporate management policy briefing last September. In addition, the development of this next generation hardware needs to begin years before launch, so R&D expenses for that are gradually rising. Brother, they give y'all old hardware. Like this entire article is just amazing to me, because it shows you where Nintendo's at, man. Like, Nintendo is really surviving off of nostalgia and giving you games that aren't broken, because they're recycling them, man. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. We are aiming to continue grow. We're aiming to grow by continuing our integrated hardware and software and entertainment businesses. You can't even get online right. Why do I have to enter a social security code for me to play with somebody?
Hold on, Steve. Hold on. Wait. Let me push a little positivity into this. At least they may be thinking about it, Steel. That's what I read out of this article. Maybe they're finally realizing, because again, I do believe at the end of the day, because we know how much Nintendo loves to make money off of every single product, whether it's their consoles or games or whatever the case may be, or their cardboard, whatever they're selling you, they want to make money off of it, right? Everybody knows going digital content is the cheapest way where you can make the biggest profits.
Yes.
Right. I have to believe that I have to believe that somewhere in Nintendo, they realize that the digital age, if they can move their fan base to the digital age, that they will be making even bigger profits off of their products when they recycle a game and they ship it out digitally. They will make more money that way. They will have more control. They don't have to pay the cut to the brick and mortar store or the online or wherever they're selling it at. They can sell it directly and make more money. So I have to believe that at some point they are going to switch over and actually come up to date with their online services so that they can have that advantage that we're seeing Microsoft and Sony have right now. Microsoft even more so with Game Pass.
Yes.
But I think they have to be looking at that. So I take it from the perspective, at least we know somewhere within Nintendo, they want to come out of 1999 and move to maybe 2010,
He said
2012?
2010. No, I need y'all to be caught up to like 2018 at least. Lord.
Well, look, don't rush them, Steel. Don't rush them.
I mean,
Nintendo's
look,
a slow company.
look,
Don't rush.
as an owner of the Nintendo Switch, look, man, Nintendo does what they do very well. The only things that I'm really invested in as far as Nintendo goes is Super Smash Brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's my thing. That's what I'm into. Other than that, I mean, my kids enjoy it, man, and that's what it's about, right? It's just it's the same thing. It's the same kind of action same kind of smoke that I get Fortnite too. It's just like, dog, look at what they're doing to y'all. Like, but if y'all like it, I love it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where
respect the hustle. It is what it is.
I'm gonna speak passionately on it because that's how I feel, but at the same time, I respect it. I respect it for what it is.
Respect it. Again, fans are going to like what fans are going to like. And if they are okay with it, then they're okay with it. Yeah. I don't, again, Nintendo's, it's the path of least resistance and it's a path to most money. If they can continue to do it this way and their fans are fine with it, they're going to. And again, it'll take a bigger percentage of people to stand up and say, I'm done with this. Nintendo, get your stuff together, and until you come forward to 2018 and do something about all this stuff that's your online services and your games, and we want new games and we want better hardware. Until people start speaking up, it's not going to happen. Because Nintendo's making bank. They don't have to, and that's fine. They're living on nostalgia. That's okay. I just wanted to say, Trevor, Nintendo on Azure, I just talked about this last night a little bit because we were talking about Game Pass possibly coming to Nintendo. So I just wanted to touch on this real quick since you brought it up, sir. I think that's a possibility. I think that's part of a possible partnership with Microsoft and Xbox, bigger plans down the road. If Nintendo does realize they need to build their infrastructure, it's going to cost them a ton of money. We already know that Sony will have a hard time, making something that resembles Game Pass, right? They don't have the funds. Nintendo has money, but they don't have any of the infrastructure whatsoever. No. It's going to be a total rebuild for them from the ground up.
And they'd have to spend a lot of money for that too. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing you got to consider.
Exactly. And the thing is that if they're going to do a partnership with Microsoft, because, and Game Pass was going to come on there, I think that part of that partnership could be on the back end of things where Microsoft gives them a sweetheart deal for Azure servers, gives them, helps them rebuild that infrastructure that they need to move forward into the digital, even though they are a digital company now, but you know what I'm saying? Exactly. To come current
I got
with everybody else and come in line with everybody else. Microsoft could help them out doing that for the right to put Game Pass on Nintendo. That was one of the paths that I could see this going. Yeah. Because a lot of people are saying, why would Nintendo ever want Game Pass on there? Blah blah blah. They don't need to. You're right. There are benefits though, and I think one of those would be getting Microsoft's direct help with bringing them up to date. And I think that would be a huge get.
Another quick thing I want to jump on because Stubbs just brought this up. Xbox would need to pay Nintendo big money to get on Nintendo systems, even that I doubt their interest. No, I don't think Xbox would have to pay anything. Why? Because Nintendo is going to partner with Nintendo. Xbox is going to partner with Nintendo to get
Nintendo's going to partner with Nintendo.
They're going to partner with themselves. That sounds a lot more possible. They're going to partner with themselves to create whatever. No, but Nintendo's going to partner with Xbox to get their online services up to date. They're already doing it. They're already in talks of doing that. There's all those, and that information could be looked up also. Just do a little Google search. Nintendo's talking with Microsoft already to see what they can do to update their infrastructure. And I feel like in turn, there's going to be something in the background. Hey, if you scratch, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. So could there be a Game Pass Lite? Nothing, and it's not about Nintendo needing Xbox. Xbox doesn't need Nintendo. That's not what it's about. It's about bringing gaming together. If there's a reason for, again, this is how you have to look at it from the typical consumer, right? As a typical consumer, if you were able to get like a Game Pass Lite on your Nintendo Switch, you have now giving your consumers more of a reason to buy a Nintendo Switch.
And people who never would buy a Switch, like myself, to buy a Switch in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just an additive bonus. Not saying that it's something that's concrete or something that's going to happen, or whatever the case might be. Again, no, Nintendo doesn't need Xbox, but they do need something on the back end. They need a better infrastructure, and they're in the process of talking with Microsoft to see what they can do, at least from what we've heard about what they can do to work, at least bring their servers up to date, and bring their base a better online experience than what they have
Again, all
currently.
speculation, speculation.
That's all.
Facts, again, there's no 100% route to this happening or
Right.
ever happening.
Right.
I mean, we could be talking 10 years from now and still nothing there, right?
Yeah.
But again, you can see the relationship forming. The possibilities and potential are there. So, you know what? I like it. I like being in speculation town. And I think it's fun to talk about because you could definitely see a reality where it actually does happen, and there's different paths as to how it could get to that point. And you know what? Steele and I just like going down those paths and
Right.
checking it out and seeing what it would look like.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
That's all.
That's what it's about. But with that being said, we're over the 2-hour mark. We're getting to the end of the show. Hey, man, we do this like it's nothing. And before we get into one of the last important parts of the show, we like to walk into the show with what's coming out, the upcoming releases, what you have to look forward to, and I like to end the show with this
making us feel old.
This day in gaming, man.
Oh no, we're changing the title. It's now we're gonna make you feel old.
Let's make you feel old.
That's what we're gonna call this from now on.
The make you feel old section. That's exactly why I do it, because I want to make sure that everybody that's part of this feels as old as they could possibly feel. Right. No, exactly. That's not why I do this, man.
That's exactly why you do this. Stop lying.
That's not why I do this, man. I do this because, again, like I always say, week by week basis. Shout out to the homie Everborn Saga. Gaming is art. Should be treated as such. I like to bring back at least the memories and go through at least the last 30 years of gaming and what released on this day in gaming, so that you can go through your memory banks and really maybe you have memories with some of these games. And it's always good. Again, like I said, gaming is art. It should be treated as such. Games should not just be trash that gets thrown away when you're done with them or whatever the case. Yeah, you might not go back and play them, but at least you can you still have those memories with them, and we kind of want to incite those memories. So
look at what you're leading off with here. My God, you're already doing it to me. Look at this.
So as we start, man, in this day in gaming on May 15th, 26 years ago, we're going back on the Genesis. We've Road Rash 3.
We need another Road Rash. I don't care. We need a big time developed AAA Road Rash. It would be a gigantic seller. Bring it back. Sorry.
No, I feel you on that. I was about 3 years old when that game came out, so I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I'm just saying, you want me to make you feel old? I'll make you feel old.
You do it already.
Oh snap! But as we move forward,
send all complaints to Steel Brains DMs.
Hit my DMs. Tell them, let me know how old you felt, or let me know about your memories that you may have with some of these games. Because man, that's what it's about. It's always beautiful to see when you bring up a game and somebody's like, "Yo, I remember this, and this, and I had this experience I was with this buddy and doing these things." I love to hear those stories, man. Because again, it's so organic for us as gamers, that when you bring up a game or something, or bring up a topic, that it hits those memory banks that you weren't trying to hit, but basically somebody can relate to. So that's what's important. 21 years ago, we got PlayStation Vagrant Story.
Classic.
That's a classic. It looks familiar. It looks like I might have touched on that. I'm not
one of the big
sure.
ones. Yeah, no.
Could be highly possible. 15 years ago, 2006, you had the DS. We got new Super Mario Brothers. I remember when that came out. That's what's up.
Of course.
And
Cycled.
then, yeah, again, again. Hey, I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm not gonna go on. I'm not gonna go on another rant. PlayStation 2, The Da Vinci Code. Hey, that was an
Great
excellent
movie.
movie.
Great
Excellent
movie.
movie.
Never played the game.
Excellent movie. Yeah, I never played the game either. 2007, you got on the DS, Etrian Odyssey. Not familiar with that
Awesome.
title.
Oh, dungeon crawler.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
classic style 3D dungeon crawler.
Oh
First
yeah.
person, that view. Yeah, oh, dude,
Oh yeah.
amazing series.
Oh
Actually.
yeah, that sounds dope.
So,
PSP, you got Innocent Life, a futuristic Harvest Moon. Okay.
nothing on that one.
Nah, that doesn't sound. I don't remember that.
Is it
on the
Harvest
PSP.
Moon? Is it Harvest Moon?
It's Innocent Life. That's the
Innocent Life. Oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
called
Oh, I
Innocent
thought
Life.
maybe it was. I thought maybe it was part of Harvest Moon.
Nah, it just says a futuristic Harvest Moon.
Okay, all right.
And then you had on PC in 2007. 2007.
Seville.
I don't know what Seville is. You had
On the
Resident
level
Evil
with the Seville.
4. Resident Evil 4 on PC in 2007. Okay, that's crazy. Then as we move forward, 2008, on the DS, you had Luminous Arc 2, that released in Japan. And then as we get a little more familiar with some things, 2012, Diablo 3 released on the PC, man. Man, as a heavy Diablo fan, yeah, I've been playing Diablo since 2, and man, Diablo 3 kind of continued that. I really loved everything that Diablo 3 brought into the series. I jumped off of it before a lot of the DLC and stuff came out. Again, I played it very heavily, but I didn't have anybody else that was involved enough with Diablo. I had nostalgia with Diablo to probably stay involved with it, so I dropped it. But it was an excellent game. Those of you who haven't played Diablo 3, I believe it's got some updates since. A lot of updates since, actually, and I believe it plays really well on the series consoles from what I'm hearing. So again, if you haven't played Diablo 3, definitely check that out. On PC, you also have PC, and on PlayStation 3, you had Game of Thrones. Didn't know that there was an actual game for that, so that's interesting. And then you had Max Payne 3 that also released on the Xbox 360, another classic game. Man,
bring back Max Payne. We need a remaster Max Payne.
That's a fact. I completely agree. I believe it was the older Max Paynes that I was really into. Weren't those part of this series though? The Max Payne 1 and 2, where it's like it had more of like the eerie.
Yeah, but not really eerie. I mean, it was always kind of a detective game, but the slow motion is what made that game.
Yeah, not fast. Bullet time.
It
was perfect.
Bullet time was incredible.
It was excellent. All right, and then PlayStation 3, they released Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 2.
The downfall. We didn't get into Sega today, but Sega's
we didn't get into
Sega. Bringing back their franchises. They got a plan long term. Not to go on a rant here, guys, but yeah, if you didn't read up on the news, Sega's got some big time futuristic plans to bring back some of their classic series and to go worldwide with them. So I can't wait to see what happens.
They need to.
Yeah,
again, they're sitting on one of their biggest icons as far as Sonic goes. Again, we see how the movie's doing. The movie did so well that they're going to continue with the story, and now. Again, it shows you how big of an icon that Sonic is when they tried to release the movie originally. And because of the outcry of, again, that first Sonic did not look good. And if they would have released that, I would have refuted it. Yeah, no, he was completely ugly. He was that was trash. Like you took Sonic and just flushed him down a toilet. But
that was one of those Chinese knockoffs.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I'm glad that they listened to the community, went back in and completely redesigned him. I mean, made him look more like an authentic Sonic. Is he true to me? Not per se, as far as what I would like Sonic to be, but for what they've created, he's perfect. As far as how they're going to continue the story, as long as they make Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, as long as they make everybody else also fit into the story, because again, Sonic is another one of those characters that has an ever-expanding universe. They can easily make 10 Sonic movies as long as they have a good mind behind them and keep them engaging, just because of how deep that actual story goes, especially when you get involved with the whole Chaos Emerald thing, and the whole theories behind that and everything. It gets really deep, man. And it's one of those that Sega definitely needs to find a way to bring it back to the top. And I feel like they're partially doing that with the Sonic movie. But yeah. So 2014, move on to the PlayStation Vita. You got Genkai Toki, Moro Chronicle, and that released in Japan. I'm not familiar with that.
It's part of a series, obviously Japanese, well, JRPG style, but they've done other things like Monster Monpiece was extremely popular on Vita, part of the same series. Lots of fan service, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, lots of,
Okay, got you.
lots of fan service, but
When you say
Monster
fan service, I
Monpiece,
know.
yeah. But if for anybody out there, anime fan service is well, whatever. Let's just say they show a lot of skin for the fans. Okay. Anyways, but Monster Monpiece was a kind of a card version, card battle system. Excellently done though. Excellently, Jesus, is that a word? It was done very, very, very well. The gameplay itself was awesome. So it's a cool series. It's highly popular in Japan. Really cool series.
Dope. And then we move on to the 2015 on PC. They released Crosscode. That sounds like it's familiar. It's a 2D action RPG. I don't believe I played that.
That is actually out on all consoles now too.
Oh,
as well.
okay.
I played a little bit of it. Really well done. Kind of a sci-fi, futuristic RPG, old school style. Yeah.
Okay, that's dope.
Actually, actually pretty cool.
Yeah. If y'all are interested in that, definitely go check that out. It's all available on all consoles. That's dope. Then in 2018, Android released Baseball 9. I'm not familiar with that. Nintendo then released on the Switch Battle Chasers Night War.
Beautiful game. Okay. Amazing game. It's out on all consoles as well.
Okay, so definitely for those of y'all interested in that, check that out. Then on PlayStation 4, we had Dragon's Crown Pro, Horizon Chase Turbo, and then Little Witch Academia Chamber of Time, which is probably out of those three games, are probably the title that I'm probably more familiar with than all of them. Which of course I am. 3DS, you got Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux. I never got heavy into the Shin Megami Tensei games, but I know that they're classics. It's definitely for those who might have some memories of those, man. It's definitely something.
Need those coming over. The remake.
Yeah, I do agree with that because there's an audience for them for sure.
Yep.
On Nintendo Switch, they got Wizard of Legend the same year. Wizard of Legend is another one of those games that I haven't got to play yet, but I believe it's a co-op game, ain't it? Where it's a fast-paced 2D dungeon crawler.
I'm not sure about that one.
It's I'm not sure if you can see that. It's also on Xbox too. I believe you get power-ups and everything throughout the game. It's kind of like a roguelike kind of game.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yes, it's a multiplayer kind of. Yes, it is. It's got elements of Gauntlet in it. Kind of style. Yes.
It's another one of those games where I've always wanted to wait for somebody to jump into it with, and that might be one of those games that we might have to add to that list.
Exactly.
And then as we move on to the most recent year, 2020, PC, they released Cepheus Protocol. Hopefully I said that right. And then on Nintendo Switch, they released Hatsune Miku Project Diva Megamix. Project Diva Megamix, I'm not familiar with that, but sounds like it could have been interesting.
Oh, wait, Project Diva? I think that was oh man, was that a rhythm game? I think it might have been a rhythm game.
Yeah, it's a Take the Stage. The hit rhythm game series returns with exciting new features.
Yes.
Awesome. So that is your This Damn in Gaming segment, where we take it back and just basically go through the last almost 30 years of gaming. Basically try to reincite those memories, because again, gaming is art. It should be treated as such. We just don't throw our games, or our games shouldn't just get thrown away. They kind of move along with us, and if they're not in your library, they definitely move on with you within the library of your mind. So to be able to bring those memories back out and just kind of make you reminisce, and maybe even touch on some of the games that we talked about within these last 30 years, for This Thing in Gaming, is why I do this section, or why I feel like it's important. So with that being said, Pong, another excellent episode, man, of the Living Splitscreen. Episode 8, man. Episode 8.
And
how you feeling?
This show is fire. The show was fire. Completely awesome. I love the energy as always. Today was actually on another level, I felt. So
Yeah,
man, you know what? We took a couple lefts at Albuquerque, went down some crazy tunnels off
we
of
did. We
subjects that
did.
had nothing to do with anything. But you know what?
That's fine.
We always find our way, Steel. This is what we do here at Living Split Screen. Between you and I, again, we just love to hear ourselves talk so much that we can't not go under 2 hours, and we
Yeah.
always find topics to talk about. Chat, you guys are absolutely amazing for coming out every single weekend and showing us love and support. Continue to do so, please. We've got a great ratio of like button hits here. Please share us out. Please keep telling people about us to come see us on Saturday mornings. We're just two passionate guys who absolutely love the gaming space and just want to bring our own flavor to it each and every week,
Yes.
and talk about things that are interesting. They're not always going to be the biggest topics. We're not always going to cover the biggest and baddest news. Most of the time we will,
Yeah.
but we go off on tangents and we find other things that we just think are interesting, and we hope you do too. You guys are all great. We love you so much. So thank you all for coming out and seeing us again for episode 8. We can't do this without you. It's one of the reasons why we started doing this. And we love seeing you each and every Saturday. So again, appreciate all of you. Steel, great show, brother. Again, much love as always, and
Always.
respect for everything that you do behind the scenes to get this show going, because I'm not a tech guy, because I don't have the equipment to do it, and
good.
just because you are so damn good at it. Right. So I appreciate you for everything that you do and getting up and getting this ready rolling each and every Saturday morning. I couldn't do this without you, brother. And I'm glad I'm not doing it without you, because I wanted this to be what it is, man. So,
Hey, and that's what's important. Yeah, I definitely.
yeah.
I appreciate I appreciate the kind words, man. Again, I don't want to say that I'm the most technical guy or the most knowing guy. I don't know everything, man. I do have an understanding that I do feel like a lot of people here recently have made me understand that I feel like I downplay myself a lot, and it's only because I'm not a master at everything. You know what I mean? And I try not to be too, I guess, too egotistic about whatever, or try to say, "Oh, I'm just doing this, man, and I'm doing it organically." I'm
Just do it. You're good at what you do.
and
Period.
it's just passion, man. Again, it's the whole point of doing this. What I feel like we do here that separates us from anybody else is that the energy, the authenticity, the organic nature. I feel like it's unmatched, especially as you look across the scene through anybody else. I don't think anybody's bringing the same intensity that we're bringing. And again, being able to do this naturally, we would love to dedicate more time to this. Again, this is what you guys get from us being busy throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? We're busy. We don't get time.
You mean we got real lives?
Yeah,
We got real lives?
exactly. It's like we have real lives. We don't spend all day on Twitter or whatever else the case might be. And I feel like we still put out an excellent show. Hopefully, from what you guys have been saying, hopefully it's not all gas, because what's important to me is I want people to say, "Hey, man, this is what you're not doing so well. This is what you are doing well, and these are the things we feel like you could probably add in to make it a little better." So, those are the things that are important to me, and as we grow, I want that to be like a pillar of ours. The honesty, the authenticity, and just the energy that is provided here as you move into your weekend. Again, we're going for the top, man. I don't care what nobody else says, thinks, feels, and it's not an attack on anybody. I just feel like we are probably we're definitely in the top 5, if not top 10, as far as duos go, as far as this podcasting thing go, man. At least that's my personal feeling. Again, you have to have that energy, you have to have that love, you have to have that passion, whatever passion is. But you got to have that passion, man. And I feel like that's what we bring the most of, and hopefully y'all feel that, and we continue to share that out, man. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and close out first. Look, every week you can find me GRG Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central. Come check us out, man. We are a group of guys where we group of guys and gals that we end up bringing on.
Hey, you
Bring
got
some
gals on.
amazing guests that come on. Last night we had Callie Rexon, the young lord addict, come through. Even though
Nice.
he was at work or whatever, but the fact that we were able to get him in was awesome. You know what I mean? First time podcasting with him. We had some, again, great conversations there. And then Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, man. Living Split Screen in the morning, your new Saturday morning show. We're like the Saturday morning cartoons, except we're just trying to give you that energy boost as you get into your weekend, give you that gaming, those gaming conversations that you might have lacked throughout the week. We don't try to hit, we're not platformer centric. We don't try to talk about what everybody else has talked about throughout the week. So hopefully y'all didn't get any of that here. I mean, it's kind of hard because we do want to touch on those topics again. As you see,
Yeah,
we can go almost 3 hours by ourselves, and we still omitted a topic that we
Could
all
go
wanted to get
6.
to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a damn.
There's
sure.
like 5 topics we didn't get to actually.
Yeah, there was quite a few things we didn't get to. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys being here. And much love to everybody that's been in the chat. For those that have continued to come out on us every Saturday basis, man. Hey, let's just continue to push this out. And much love to y'all. And hey, other than that, the other thing that I wanted to add on to before I pass it off to you, Pong, we are going to start working on doing timestamps. At least I want to start getting better about that. I know it helps out for a lot of people. I'm also again wanting to put out like 30-second clips, 40-second clips, and when we get our rants or whatever the case might be, it's just getting a little bit of time to set to the side between gaming, family, life. Again, if half of y'all spent the energy that you spent on Twitter actually making content, you might get somewhere in life. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pass that off to my brother from another, the most authentic guy, one of the most authentic guys that I know within this gaming space, man. Again, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't all natural thing and all natty like the little man from the Series S. And hey, man, what's going on? What's your outro?
Look, all right, Steel. And guys, chat, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all the love and supporting words out there. I'm reading you guys. Again, it's appreciative. It means a lot to both Steel and I to see it. We're going to continue to grow. Is basically what Steel is saying as well. We are going to continue to get better. Both him and I. We got a lot going on in life, and this is we do this because it's fun. But Steel and I also do set a high standard for ourselves, and we want to continue to get better.
Yes.
Both him and I are relatively new to the game. He's got more experience than I do because he used to do a show. Yeah, you used to do a show.
It was only for a month or so, but
yeah, well, whatever. But again, we're both new, relatively new to this scene. And you know what? We both have a passion, not only just for the gaming industry, but for podcasting. We both love this game. And so we do want to grow. We want to get better. And we definitely are going to continue to be critical of ourselves and try to figure out new ways to expand this thing, because that's exactly what we want to do. And that's what Steel is saying, why we are shooting for the top, because we look to that as to where we want to get to eventually. Again, can't do it without you guys. Love you all. Thank you. Anything that you guys have to say, we do read, we do take to heart, and definitely try to implement. As you can see today, I think we did a great job. You know what, Steel?
Yeah, we involved the chat a lot.
That's supposed to be my outro, but yeah, we bounced off the chat today a lot. So I think that's great, because that was one of our original intentions, was to absolutely do that. So, but anyways, love you all. I'm done rambling now. Pong Soul everywhere. You guys know how to find me. Xbox, Twitter. Follow me. I'll follow you back. Tell your friends out there about myself and Steel. We need more followers. It's great. It's fantastic. We love interacting with people. You can find me Friday nights on Xbox Ultimate with Fun Speculation, aka Mav, Caitlin, and the rest of the Magnificent Seven over there. We just had a great show last night with Luca and Hyperfan Gaming, Devin from WBG. So again, man, we have such a good time over there. That's my extended family over there.
Facts.
We have a great show. Yeah, it's on the same time as GRG is with Steel and K Mega and the crew over there, but you can have 2 tabs up. You don't have to listen to both of us because that gets kind of insane. I've done it. But but you can have 2 tabs up. But again, great show. Xbox Ultimate Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central. Saturday mornings, Living Split Screen. You know we're coming back. Episode 9 next week. So we'll see you all here then. And then Saturday night, so tonight, I will be on the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, Centurion, and Stagorilla. That starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Come by and check us out. PTK has been killing it with the guests lately. We don't have anybody tonight, but we've been having some great shows. We try to keep it just a little over an hour. So quick. So go ahead and check us out there, the Shop Podcast. And then Tuesdays, back at it with the Xbox Factor Podcast with Mr. Boomstick and Zemi Games and myself, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. Always a good time with Mr. Boomstick and Double Barrel Gaming. So check us out. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming out. Enjoy your weekend. Get out there. Turn on your console, turn on your PC, sit down, relax a little bit, play what you love what you play, and we'll be obviously talking to you guys real soon. Thank you all.
Facts. Other than that, y'all keep it live, raw, and uncut. Living Split Screen will be right back here next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. UK time. Much love to everybody. Appreciate for everybody being here. Steel, Pong. Peace.